Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Savannah Gardens in Cardiff for the latest instalment of the Vitality Blast competition. And tonight's match here, on a very sunny evening in Cardiff, the Welsh capital. It's a match between Glamorgan and the Warwickshire Bears have travelled all the way from Birmingham for this clash today. And the crowd's slowly filling up. They've been treated to a women's match here this afternoon, where Glamorgan had a comfortable victory against Middlesex. But now it's time for the men, and Glamorgan have a chance tonight to move into the top two, which of course is where they need to be, where they'd like to be to ensure qualification through to the quarterfinals. Alongside me today is Charlie Harden, cricket commentator and content creator, who you'll see at lots of grounds all around the UK this summer. And good to see you, Charlie.
Thanks, Ash.
Welcome to Cardiff. Yeah, great to see you here. And exciting game in prospect, because I think it's fair to say two sides that have run into a little bit of form in this competition.
They are arguably two of the most informed teams in the competition going around. Warwickshire Bears looking to go 4 on the trot, and Glamorgan are picking up some real form as well. A lot of people are forgetting that Warwickshire lost their first 5 games. It's incredible, their comeback, and Glamorgan have got 4 wins in their last 5.
Yeah.
So it's pretty impressive. These two, one of them is going to just falter in their quest for staying in form, and the other are going to go sailing up the table, aren't they?
That's it. No, it's exciting. Definitely a bit of a feel-good here at Glamorgan at the moment. Doing well in all formats. Doing really well in the Championship. Have had some sort of landmark wins in that competition this year, and also some really exciting games in the Vitality Blast as well. And as you say, they are just in 3rd place at the moment in the table with a good record, 4 wins from their matches so far, from the 7 played. If they win tonight, they should just overtake Gloucester and move into 2nd place behind the runaway leaders, Northamptonshire. So we can have a little chat about the team, Charlie. And this is the Glamorgan playing 11. It's the same team that won the last match against Middlesex here last Friday night. And so lots of familiar names there. Captain Kieran Carlson leading the way. He'll open the batting. And then, of course, the new young stars of Welsh cricket, Asa Tribe and Ben Kellaway, Sean Dixon, who's been showing all his value, and then Chris Cook, the keeper, coming, and then pretty much bats all the way down to the bottom, Charlie, doesn't it? I mean, it's quite. I think they must all have first-class hundreds. Well, now Mason Crane has got one. They probably all have.
Yeah, I think they have too. It's a scary lineup, isn't it? It might not blow you away straight away, but when you really dive into this 11, Glamorgan do have depth all the way through. Well, the Warwickshire Bears, they have got a similar amount of depth. They are a class side. Zen Malik with 99 just last week against Worcestershire. What an incredible knock that was. Deserved 3 figures. And it was 50s for Rob Yates, Bo Webster and Sam Hain last time out in their win against Sussex a few days ago. That was on Wednesday. So that is the team. Then we've got Dan Mousley coming in at number 5. Ed Barnard, the skipper. Kai Smith, Wiki. Jordan Thompson, Chris Wokes, Richard Gleeson and Usman Tariq make up a star-studded bowling attack.
Looking forward to watching him bowl. Been controversy this year. It should be great watching him. Really unusual, kind of the Malinga of the spinner world, if you like. Well, you can see Glamorgan are out on the field. They have won the toss and they have elected to bowl. So it's the Bears who are going to have a bat first on this lovely sunny evening as plumes of smoke just waft their way across the ground. We've had the pyrotechnics here this evening. No expense spared, entertaining the crowd. Really putting on the big atmosphere here for this important game. You feel like this could be a key match for both sides. If Glamorgan win, well, they'll really feel confident, I think, of pushing home and reaching the quarterfinals. Warwickshire really needs to stay alive and keep winning, as they have done. So, yeah, an exciting match in prospect.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I tell you what, I can't wait. I cannot wait, Ash, to see Bo Webster. He is the top run scorer for the entire Blast competition. He has 427 runs, but he's not in just yet. The opening batters, Rob Yates and Zen Malik, look to get Warwickshire off to the perfect start.
So, it looks as if Glamorgan are going to open with spin. Ben Kellaway, one of the all-rounders in this Glamorgan side. Well, they've mixed it up in this competition. They seem to have different plans for different matches. They started with pace at both ends in the last game against Middlesex, but they're going to start with spin here, which a lot of sides do. Just take the ball off, you have to make the batsman play a shot. to try and hit the boundary rather than just using the pace and deflecting it into the gap. So it's Kellaway who looks like he's going to start up here. Bowling right arm over. Ooh, and a bit of a loosener there. Short long hop, and a little bit surprised that Malik didn't try and hit that over square leg for 6.
Well, he's shown early doors. He doesn't want to bring the straight boundaries into play, does he? A little bit short straight, much longer on the wide boundaries.
So a nice shot, rocked on the back foot, and that's the first boundary. Good shot from Malik. Again, just maybe a little bit short from Kellaway. Both those opening deliveries, and Malik put that away very nicely.
Yeah, not a bad delivery to have early on in your innings. That Zen Malik's rocked back really, really early, pounced on the dropping of length there from Ben Kellaway, and doesn't take any prisoners.
Well, this feels it's not the usual plan, this, and interesting to see whether Kellaway can come back. That one thrown up there, and I don't think there was an edge. Chris Cook, the keeper, didn't take it cleanly. I think they're not holding there's no head in the hands or anything, so I'm not sure it was edged. I think he just misread it, maybe didn't expect it to come through to him. Using his feet again, so Kellaway has recovered from those couple of loose ones and seems to have found his spot here. Tight ring of fielders on the offside. Goes reverse early on. Just got enough to get it over short third. It's McAndrew who chases. Ooh. So, well, chanced his arm there and just got away with it.
Yeah, he did. It's the shot's on. You know, the fielders are up in that area of the ground. He's tried to go over backward point, and he's got a good grasp of it. But I think he assumed it was going all the way for 4, so stopped running. But he managed to get through just to a single in the end. Zen Malik.
I don't know if Kellaway saw him coming there, because he just seemed to drag it down, as if whether he just saw and decided to pull the length back. So it's going to be a comfortable single. It's Ace of Tribe down there, as he often is, on the boundary there on the offside, at long off. So right-left combination here for Warwickshire, meaning they have to adjust the field every ball. Oh, chips it again, but comfortable single. There's no one in there close on the leg side. And that's the end of the first over. 8 without loss. Thoughts?
Yeah, so quite an interesting play to open up with spin. Now, I went out there to look at the pitch, and it's actually quite deceiving. From far away, it looks like that kind of classical, slight tinge of green, classic pitch for when you play T20 cricket. Actually, it's going to skid on early. Looks like there might be a tiny bit of moisture left for, pace to really skip onto the bat. And when I got out there, actually, it did look quite dry. It looked like, well, it's obviously been used for that Glamorgan women's game where they defeated Middlesex batting first. I think it's just quite interesting to open up with spin, almost to see a little check early doors to see if Ben Kellaway can get any purchase out of any of the dry spots.
So it's Tim van der Hoogten then who's going to open up for Glamorgan from the Cathedral Road end. Running away for us here in the commentary box. Bowling to Zen Malik, who's going just over a runner ball. Another one down the leg side.
Yeah, Zen Malik definitely will not be holding back. That's just not the way he plays. Ultra aggression. And as we saw in the last over, he'll try and score a boundary where there is any room for one.
Well, it's good this, just trying to put the bowlers off their length here by moving early, and that's maybe why Van der Hoogten sort of dragged that one down a bit. He just tried to adjust and didn't quite get it right when he saw Malik coming. Better. Just short of a length and whistling through to Chris Cook.
Yeah, it's a hard length, that one from Van der Hoogten. Not easy to get away, and Zen Malik looking to hit it miles over the mid-wicket boundary, which is a long way out there towards the grandstand.
Well, that one would have probably landed in the city centre if he'd got hold of it. As it was, just thin air. So 9 without loss in the second over. Tim van der Hoogten, the Netherlands international. Cloths it a bit there. That's a sort of speculative shot at the stumps from Mason Crane. I think there was never any danger of Malik being run out. He trotted in comfortably there. But again, plenty of intent from the batters.
Yeah, just not quite been able to pick up on the pace of this wicket yet. I think it'll be a good play for bowlers on both sides to vary pace throughout, because it doesn't look like it's coming onto the bat perfectly yet for the Warwickshire batters, but there's obviously plenty of time in the game.
So fine leg and third are both up, so I wonder if he'll try to access those areas. No, another good ball. It's just going to be a single. Slightly loose throw from Asa Tribe, but plenty of men backing up.
Yeah, slightly cautious start from Rob Yates. He's looking to get into his innings in a slightly different manner to Zen Malik, who's just advancing at basically every ball at the minute.
Yeah, Malik definitely looks like the aggressor so far. He definitely thinks, well, I'm just going to chance his arm and hope it's his night. And he comes off, looking to hit the ball hard here. Moves across. Again, and no wide, even though that went down the leg side. And the umpires clearly adjudged that he moved across sufficiently far from leg to off to mean that would have hit him if he'd have stood still. So, yeah, that's probably true. That only just missed leg stump, didn't it?
Yeah, that wasn't far away, but another sign of Zen Malik. Look, he's seen a gap. The short fine leg fielder is in the ring, and the only fielder in that vague area is the deep square leg fielder. It's not too far a boundary out there, so he's trying to use the pace of Van der Hoogten, and it's already causing a little conflab at the bowler's end.
Yeah, a little conflab with Jimmy Neesham, that is. Plenty of experience there, trying to work out what the best plan is. Goes short, hits him in the midriff. Well, they dropped deep square leg back, and it looked like a slightly, maybe a fraction slower, but halfway down. Possibly trying to induce the shot lofted down to deep square leg for a potential catching opportunity. In the end, just caught one in the midriff.
Yeah, didn't quite get up as Malik anticipated there.
Yeah, like you say, it's interesting. Maybe it is a little bit, the pace may be difficult to judge at the moment. He threw that shot before the ball was there. Another one, another bouncer. Oh, that one's been given a wide though. Just a little bit too short. Got the nod from the square leg umpire, I think.
Well, it'll be interesting to see the take on this from the Glamorgan side, whether they will follow up with another over of spin from where Ben Kellaway's been bowling, or they'll see that Van der Hoogten's got a little bit of success. Hasn't been easy to get away, and they might change it to pace straight up, but we'll see.
Yeah, normally metronomic kind of, bowling that hard length just outside off stump, but I think he's been forced as Van der Hoogten to kind of try a few new things, and by just the aggression of Malik, I think normally likes to get into his rhythm, just bowl a really good length that's hard to get away. But Malik, I think, is just asking a few questions of the bowler. Not a bad over though. Only 6 from it, 14 without loss after 2.
You can see why he's going to be a nightmare to set fields to. You know, if this guy gets going, he will find any gap you give. And then you're going to have to make a new plan at the end of each delivery when he plays a new shot.
Yeah, his intent is really kind of all round the pitch, isn't it? Really 360. He's tried to play some expansive shots, sort of pretty much over the wicket-keeper's head, and he's hit a nice one through the covers as well, and swung the ball into the leg side as well. So good to see the crowd filling up. People just coming in from work at the end of a hard week, get their pint and enjoy a lovely evening. Quite warm conditions out there this evening. A little bit of a breeze, so not too bad. And it's Nathan McAndrew who's going to continue from the River Taff end. Swung across the line, got good contact on it, and that races away. So it's Yates who turns aggressor now. Kind of swung across the line there, didn't really properly connect with it, but got enough.
Yeah, it's interesting. We haven't really seen anyone quite get a hold of a hard length from the pace yet, and I think Rob Yates actually a little bit fortunate to guide it past the mid-wicket fielder, who's now been sent out to the boundary. So the 2 deep fielders will be out on the leg side, mid-wicket and square leg deep. But it is interesting, we've seen that change of bowling, haven't we? Ben Kellaway was almost just a tester, see what the pitch is doing, and it's straight to pace now from both ends.
That's better, right on the money. And that's Kieran Carlson, as he often is, the Glamorgan captain, very close in, often in that sort of short cover position, takes quite a few catches and throws himself around, trying to stop any balls going through that region. Of course, there's no one behind him here, so really he's going to have to be pretty sharp. Anything pitched up, Yates is going to try and hit it through that region, sort of 5 yards either side of Kieran Carlson. So no slips. Good ball again. Now that does seem to be the spot. Difficult to get away when he bowls that length, McAndrew.
Yeah, absolutely. And the more pressure that builds, if they can keep it in that area, the more shots that Glamorgan see like that from these two batters, they'll be very happy to watch past the outside edge.
Yeah, Yates just trying to clear that front leg out of the way. I think he's probably not worried that the two fielders are out there on the boundary. His intention is to hit it over their heads by the look of it.
I think it's both their intentions, these two.
And there it is. And he's got it. Got it. Beautiful hit. That's gone at least 15 rows back. A beautiful strike from Yates.
That is a magnificent shot, isn't it? He's really picked up on the length early, and he hasn't really had to move his feet too far. He's just stayed a solid base. You can see it here. He's just absolutely climbed into that one. Staggering shot there from Rob Yates.
Yeah, clean, authentic strike. Well, I thought Yates might be the more passive of the two. It seems not, so they're both going to go for it. Well, that's what the crowd want to see, and it's a good contest, this, between bat and ball. They'll think about two. Ran the first one quickly, but decided not to. And good decision. It was a throw fizzed in right over the top of the stumps. Down there from Mason Crane.
Yeah, it's good batting from Rob Yates. Something I love to see, Ash. Huge six, then
get down the other end.
Get a nice single. Now you're safe at the non-strikers.
Have a rest.
Pass it over to Zen Malik, who I think will be a little bit aggrieved that he wasn't the first six-hitter of the match. So we might see some aggression soon.
This is good. A contest within a contest between the batters. That's exciting. So 11 from the over so far. Last ball. And he's bowled in! McAndrew strikes for Glamorgan. The middle stump is knocked out of the ground. And that dangerous opening partnership is broken.
Yeah, patience was wearing thin there for Zen Malik. And he's looking to hit a huge shot into the River Taff. And it was just slightly too full. And Zen Malik has been absolutely castled. You'll see it again here. Middle stump flying out of the ground. Nathan McAndrew with a raw, passionate celebration as he knows that's a huge wicket, but it brings out arguably one of the batters of the tournament so far.
So it's Bo Webster, the new batter. Got 60 against Sussex in the last game. And as you say, kind of proper, powerful hitter. He's got hundreds in this format. Australian Test player. So lots of experience, lots of talent, and a key man, you'd think. That's the all-rounder from Tasmania. We'll no doubt see him with a ball in hand as well later on.
Yeah, he certainly will. He's averaging over 50 in the tournament so far. Last 5 scores in the blast. 97, 23, 112, 79, 60.
There we go. That's pretty consistent, isn't it?
Glamorgan are going to be worried about this guy. That is for sure.
Well, he's going to have to watch for a little bit, is Webster, because that was the last ball of the over. So it's Kellaway now, swapped ends. Oof, and only just kept that one out, did Yates. Maybe looked like it had kept a little bit low. He stepped away to make himself a little bit of room. And in the end, just got the bottom of the bat on it.
Yeah, you're right. Just sliding through there with the arm.
So Kellaway again coming round the wicket. That's in the air. Oh, brilliant catch! A brilliant one-handed take. It's Will Smale. That's a worldie.
An unbelievable catch. It was spinning. It was going past him. He's actually caught it behind him, diving backwards, almost landing outside the ring. What a magnificent catch there at Backward Boy. Unbelievable catch.
Well, one for the photographers. I think he had the feet were in the air. That was Superman time. Threw the right hand out, and he has taken an absolute blinder there, and you can see what it means to the players. He has been mobbed down there. And, well, that's the sort of thing that can lift a team, can change the momentum of matches. Let's see it again. There it is. Full dive, one-handed, at backward point, and massive celebrations.
That ball would have been sizzling, it would have been dipping, it would have been a nasty catch. Almost the ones you dread at backward point, the ones that are just dipping on you. And that is an astonishing catch from the fielder. What an amazing catch. And it's the kind of wicket that you need when you've got such a great opening partnership and solid top order of Warwickshire. You need moments of magic. You need to stay on top of the game early, and they've done exactly that, Glamorgan. A huge, huge wicket.
Yep, Glamorgan have gone bang, bang. The openers are both gone now. And they were both looking dangerous, so always think that any team, if they can get 3 wickets in the power play, you're absolutely in the box seat. And so they've got 2 in just, well, the first 20 balls. And so it's game on here, another one, and you think Glamorgan will really feel they've got Warwickshire where they want them. But of course these can change very quickly. I guess you'd say it's the two big batters here for Warwickshire now. It's Sam Hain, also got a 50 against Sussex, so he's in good form to face his first ball from Kellaway. And calmly takes a single.
Sam Hain's the batter you want coming in now from a Warwickshire view, isn't it? Nice little calm, as you said. Perfect calm shot. Get off the mark. First ball. What's going on here, guys? What's all the pressure about, eh? I'm just going to get off the mark and sit at the non-striker's end. And Bo Webster is now going to face his firm delivery.
So you have two new batters out there in the middle now. Glamorgan will sense an opportunity. Sweeps. Big shout for LBW. Ooh, they were pretty confident about that. He just planted his foot down, did Webster, and swung across the line trying to slog sweep.
That is going to be really, really close. Maybe impact outside the line. He got a big stride out there. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Just outside the off stump. Great change of ends this for Kellaway.
Another dot. A little bit of pressure building. Just one run from the first 5 balls and the wicket as well. So, can he finish the over off? This is important. He'll be disappointed, Kellaway, if he goes for anything more than a single. Just wants to finish the over well. It's coming round the wicket now. Chase on here. Might be a boundary. It's going to be a race between the ball and the fielder, and the ball just wins. Well, Webster has turned that into a slightly better over for Warwickshire with the boundary there. 5 from it. But another important wicket. I think we'll remember that catch for a long time. There it is, just again made himself a bit of room and managed just to get enough on it to get it through the infielders on the offside, and despite Mason Crane's best efforts, the ball made it to the boundary.
Now that shot is going to show Warwickshire that the way to bat out here, I'm not sure, is to go and try and hit sixes from first off. And I'm thinking there's plenty of runs out here along the outfield. These two will want to, as you say, just settle the damage, stay 2 down for a bit, try and rebuild this innings. And I reckon they'll start to find run scoring a little bit easier if these two can get settled into this partnership. Nathan McAndrew to continue.
Yeah, he has been Glamorgan's go-to man when they've been in a tight spot. McAndrew just seems to be able to make things happen and take wickets at important times. Tall South Australian.
Interesting again, just back up a length that ball and again just sort of sliding along, not quite getting up to maximum ability. And I wonder if it's just going to be a challenge facing pace, especially from this end. I think it was a great call to move Ben Kellaway to the Cathedral Road end, because it looks like there's a little bit more variation in the spin, a little bit more sliding through, a little bit more gripping. Whereas, from the pace perspective, this is a great end to be at. Tiny bit up and down, dangerous bowling.
Clipped off pads by Hain, takes another single. Ben Kellaway's now doing his usual duties out on the leg side boundary.
You were raving about him earlier, weren't you, on the boundary?
I enjoy watching him field. You don't say that about many fielders, but
No.
his athleticism is really exceptional. He'll cover a lot of ground, you'll see down there. I think maybe some teams would put 2 fielders down there. They back his pace to run quickly and get there himself. So he's a great athlete, good all-round sports team, a good footballer, Ben Kellaway, and obviously supremely talented batter as well as bowler and fielder. Tries, they think about a single, but decide against it as Jimmy Neesham gets round.
Yeah, there's now going to be a slight uptick in more positive stroke play, but I think it'll be quite risk-free. I reckon these two will both try and play positive shots, but they'll be looking more for gaps. They'll be looking to play it along the ground, keep the catches out of the equation. And these two will just look to build a partnership. Hopefully they can get to the halfway mark, still 2 down, then they can really start moving forward with this batting innings.
So Webster, he's on 4. And again, pretty watchful. Hain was halfway down. He wanted to come, but in the end was sent back. Good decision, I think. Certainly didn't look like there was a run there.
No, good work from Kieran Carlson, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's like a whippet in around that area. He's very quick.
Such a crucial position, isn't it? That short extra cover, not only, as you said earlier, going to be an important catching position, but it's a pressure building one, isn't it?
He does really set the tone there. He's almost like in the heart of the action, right close in the middle, and he almost sets the tone for all the other fielders with his energy. So McAndrew Flat bats a drive, but he's hit that straight to Neesham again. And so it's a dot ball. Well, this is turning out to be another very good over from McAndrew. Similar to Callaway's over, only one run from it. And we'll just want to try and get out of this over cleanly, if he can, without too much damage. There's a bit of pressure building on this new partnership. Just going to try and rebuild a little bit here, Warwickshire. Just as you say, Charlie, just managing the level of risk at the moment. So last ball of the 5th over. And another dot. Well, that's a brilliant over from McAndrew. Just a single from it. And the momentum of this Warwickshire innings just dragged back a bit now.
Yeah, certainly is. But it's also a show that these two are willing to be patient. They know what it means. If they can, as we've said, get through that power play, they can't lose another wicket, these two. And yes, it'll be frustrating to just score one run in the over, but it's better than losing a wicket, isn't it? So these two will be looking to maintain the positive stroke play, but also they'll be looking to be safe at times as well. So Van der Hoogten to continue, just the one over for him. So Ben Callaway has been brought in and out of the attack once more. The one over spell specialist. As that one's just drifted down towards fine leg. And I think it might have just clipped the bat. It has. Forgiven by the umpire. Just a little tickle on it there from Sam Hain. Able to pierce the gap at fine leg. And that is welcome runs, this Warwickshire side.
He played it very late and they thought they were in for an LBW here for a minute. It would have knocked all three out if he'd missed it, but got some bat on and actually got it fine enough as well just to get it inside the fine leg fielder there who was up. And so a welcome boundary for the Bears.
Pushing there just into the offside. Incredible fielding from Kieran Carlson. Look at that. He's just like a panther, isn't he? Pouncing on that ball and looking for any chance of a run out. Bo Webster just slightly out of his ground. And Kieran Carlson, he could smell something, couldn't he?
Well, it's how he does everything, Kieran Carlson. Maximum effort. It's the way he runs between the wickets, the way he plays his shots. He just kind of is maximum energy, scampers around and again, as I said, sets the tone, and he loves to be in the heart of the action.
And Sam Hain pulling it. There's a fielder out that's just gone over him. Blimey, that was close for a minute. The fielder was really thinking that he might be in the game, but it's just gone over his head. He's actually got the sun in his eyes out there. And Sam Hain just getting enough height on it to take it over the fielder.
It was Dan Douthwaite was the man down there. Again, he thought he was in business for a while, but in the end just had to watch it sail over his head and into the first row of the crowd. Well, Hain just seems to be going up a gear now. Strike rate of 200.
Pouncing on short length there. Fuller this time from Van der Hoogten. And Hain can't get it away for more than a dot.
Well, McAndrew built a bit of pressure. Feels a little bit released now in this over. That's a couple of boundaries. And Van der Hoogten, a little bit expensive by his standards.
Yeah, it definitely feels, if you miss that good length, it's probably better to miss it on the full side, as some of those shorter deliveries just sitting up. As here comes Van der Hoogten, and Fuller and driven. And again, looks like it's just a little bit harder to time when it's just full of a length. And when it's just dropped back slightly, players are able to wait for it that little bit longer and climb into it like we saw earlier in the over from Sam Hain.
Yeah, last ball of the power play now. Of course, we'll be interested to see what happens. I expect Mason Crane might even come on next over. That's sometimes what happens, or certainly in the next two at this point. But we'll try to finish the power play well. Both sides, of course, I guess you can put more fielders out after this ball.
Pulled away. And it's not quite time, but I think he's hit the gap. He has. Bo Webster. Just that good length, and he's been able just to time it past the short, fine leg fielder. Deep square leg. Thought for a moment that he was going to be able to chase it down, but it's beaten him, and it means that it's going to end the power play, 46 for 2. And I think it's fair to say, after a slightly wobbly start, Warwickshire Bears won't be too disheartened hitting the power play at 46 for 2.
No, yeah, it sort of feels on as even, really. I would say. I think there've been enough boundaries, haven't there, to make sure their score has ticked along quite nicely, going in just over 7.5 and over. I think Glamorgan will be pleased, though, to have those 2 wickets. I think 3, and they would definitely have felt they'd have the upper hand. But as it is, I think still quite in the balance of the 2 very dangerous players at the middle as well. And Hayne has settled into his work quite nicely already, 13 from 8. And it looks like, well, it may be Mason Crane at next over for Cathedral, and it's Dan Douthwaite who's going to come on, all-action cricketer, fast bowler, who's going to bowl the next one, the first of the overs outside the power play.
And Sam Hayne taking a deep trigger, works it out into a gap. They're going to push for 2 here, but just settle with 1. And bringing Beau Webster back on strike. Sam Hayne looking to use the crease there, just with the trigger going right back onto his stumps and then getting on top of the ball and looking for 2, but just settling for 1.
Douthwaite's natural length is to bang it in, really, sort of to bang in a hard length again. He's that sort of cricketer. Maybe tends to bowl sort of slightly shorter, if anything. Hits the pitch hard.
And Webster pulls that one, gets on top of the bounce once more. Again, hit that same gap. Sam Hayne's going to push back for 2. Brilliant running. It was always going to be him running towards the danger end, and he set off with pace for the first one and turned around.
It's a long way down to those corners here at Sophia Gardens. By the dimensions of the ground, it's quite a square ground, and so if you can get the ball down into those deep corners, 2 is often a possibility, even if it was someone as quick as Ben Kellaway running around to cut the ball off.
Yeah, it's a great point. I think Sam Hayne tried to hit that gap a few balls ago as well. As Beau Webster faces up to this one, punching off the back foot. Another nice shot. He's timed this well. It's going to get to the boundary again, just in front of the grandstand, and the ball hops over into the crowd. So another good boundary. And I tell you, Warwickshire Bears, they're finding their way back in this game. Good little partnership brewing.
Well, this partnership's looking nice now. Yeah, the boundaries are flowing. These 2 have rebuilt quite well, really, and they just seem to manage the risk for a couple of overs when they first came in, towards the end of the power play. But now seems like they've got their eye in, got a measure of the pace of the pitch.
Like it's a little bit slower that time from Dan Douthwaite as Beau Webster finds a single down the ground. So I think that's what we'll see a little bit more of from the pace bowlers, especially maybe the ball after going for a boundary, taking a little bit of pace off, trying to mix things up. And Beau Webster, just as we've seen, can't quite time that one and hits it down the ground for a single. So Warwickshire now past the 50 mark as Douthwaite looks to end this over positively. It's worked down towards fine leg. It's going to be leg byes given, I believe. Sam Hayne just gets to non-striker's end.
Well, the way the field is set up, you'd expect him to be trying to hit more the middle of the pitch rather than pitch it up, because there's 4 fielders out on the boundary on the leg side, and if anything's pitched up, well, it could go straight back over the bowler's head. So you'd expect him to try and bowl something a little bit shorter, but we'll see. There it is, a bit too short, I think, that one. Yeah,
brilliant call. You're almost setting yourself up for it. That was perfect, bouncing well over Beau Webster's head, who's a very tall man. So that had to be incredibly short from Dan Douthwaite. As we watch the replay here, God, it's bounced pretty close to him, that actually. He's done well to bowl at that shot and get it through.
He's a tall man as well. It looks like a bit of a challenge. They're almost setting him a challenge here, Beau Webster. Come on then, are you good enough to hit it over our fielders on the boundary?
I think he might be. There's Dan Douthwaite. He's in once more. This time it's full. A single is nabbed by Beau Webster. He'll keep the strike for the beginning of the 8th over. 57 for 2 now, the Warwickshire Bears, and they'll be happy with this. They were 25 for 2, lost a couple of wickets in quick succession. Rob Yates and Zen Malik, and then 56 for 2 now, 57 for 2, sorry, and they're on the way up.
Yeah, and it will be Mason Crane. As you see, there is Mason Crane. Usually comes on at this stage. Has been the star bowler, really. Such a key man in this Glamorgan side now in every form of cricket, in the Championship as well as the white ball stuff. He took 4 wickets in the last game against Middlesex, and I just have a habit of coming on and breaking a partnership, getting a wicket. Turns the ball both ways. Bowls a good variety of deliveries, and so interested to see how he goes.
Perfect example of a master of craft as Beau Webster finds long on. A little bit of a drag down to start with Mason Crane. But he'll be looking to find his length very quickly, I'm sure.
So they've got well-organised plans, it seems, Glamorgan. They kind of know what they're doing, I think. Here, their fielders in the usual positions every match. They seem to have a plan, and it's well organised. So they certainly look like a team.
Worked her way out towards that deep pocket at mid-wicket. They're going to find two. Good fielding out there from the man at deep mid-wicket. Mason Crane receives.
Sean Dixon is out there in front of the main grandstand at the moment. It's been a great signing for Glamorgan this year. Came from Somerset in the off-season and has really, really proved his worth in the white ball game. Has done well in the championship too. Key man in this side.
This one's wider and full. And Kieran Carson does a nice bit of fielding.
Crowd catch, I think the crowd were up for that one.
There was a little bit of a murmur. I'm not really sure why they were.
I think they probably thought it had gone straight to him. It was one of those. If you're talking to your friend and you turn around and you think, oh, yeah, he's caught it. But no, it was definitely a bump ball.
Rocks back, does Hayne. Finds a single once more out to long on. Mason Crane just looking to bowl nice and straight to these batters and try and tuck them up. Try and make sure that their only real scoring option is a single taken out into the leg side. And Mason Crane will be pretty happy if he goes for 6 singles and an over. Really full, and an inside edge is drawn from Bo Webster. But this is it, isn't it? They kind of just want to rattle through the overs here, Glamorgan, and try and give Warwickshire absolutely nothing to hit away from the boundary. Just back of a length, nice and straight in towards the pads. As you mentioned, Mason Crane looking to turn it both ways. It's going to be very, very tricky for Warwickshire Bears to build up any momentum against this tactic. This one's driven straight over the extra cover fielder. Kieran Carson quite can't make it. It's a brilliant stop on it. It's just gone over the boundary for 4. Great piece of work, but he wasn't quite able to bring it back inside the rope. And that is a boundary to end the over, which just will taint Mason Crane's figures slightly. He was building pressure well, but it's a 4 to end, and it's 66 for 2.
Well, if Kieran Carson was 6 inches taller, he may have got a hand on that one. As it was well placed, and Jimmy Neesham didn't quite have the pace to get round despite a valiant effort. So again, it just seems to be something that Glamorgan are doing at the moment, is bowling quite a tight over and then conceding a boundary in the last ball. So was commentating with Andrew Davis, the former Glamorgan seamer, and that is his pet hate, getting hit for a boundary off your last ball. He kind of thinks that you've got to have a better plan than that. Of course, I'm sure that the batter too is trying to disrupt those plans and moving around, so it's maybe not as easy as it sounds, but certainly I think Warwickshire now looking pretty good as Kellaway returns. A bit of momentum now from this pair.
As Webster finds a single again, they're just looking to rotate, keep it calm out there, these two, and just begin to keep ticking over this Warwickshire scorecard. You mentioned there just about the pet peeve of the boundary on the last ball, and I think you've got to say fair play to Sam Hayne. That was a brilliant shot lofted over extra cover. He's taken a risk there to the leg spinner to hit it over that short extra cover fielder, and it's a really nice shot as Kellaway continues. And Hayne again finding the single out there. A few hops and skips as he jogs his way up to the non-striker's end. But it's a show, isn't it? Warwickshire, they're happy to keep ticking over, keep the pressure off and keep these two at the crease.
This partnership worth 43 now, so building nicely.
And that sweep is well guided down. Be another single.
Still feels, don't they? They've got another gear to go, these batters. They've actually going on quite a nice lick already, but you do feel that they could go up another notch. If they're here for another 2-3 overs, then they'll probably feel they've got licence to really try and hit the accelerator with a few wickets in hand.
Clipping a little bit more area that time. Now towards deep square leg. Sam Hayne. Yeah, you're absolutely right. These two will know that whilst this tactic is going on, where they can take singles with ease, it's just going to take one ball and over. If they can find a boundary, they'll be going at close to 10s. Here comes Kellaway. Down the track, Bo Webster. Doesn't quite get hold of it. Hits it up towards long on again. That's the two. Jog through for another single, which we've seen 5 times this over. Yeah,
I think probably a single, you see it as a success in this format. If you only concede a single and you're happy to do that, they wouldn't mind it, but that's the danger, is that 4 singles and a 6, that adds up to 10, and so you've got this last ball is the one they haven't managed very well, and I think Kellaway's actually done a better job there. So, yeah, just the 6 singles, 6 runs from the over, and a little bit tidier from the spinner.
Yeah, so what we're saying, the tactic works unless you concede a boundary in the over, and then all of a sudden it's getting a little bit expensive. But no, the two batters, I'd say, are playing it pretty much perfectly as we're 1 over away from the halfway mark. 9 overs gone, 72 for 2. Webster 21, Hayne on 24. He'll take the strike to the upcoming over as Mason Crane looks to continue. And with 9 runs from the first, again, he'll be looking just to, once he's built up that pressure, just to confirm it, close out the over this time. As Kieran Carlson looks to have taken a couple of steps back. He was at a short extra last time. He's now just riding the ring. And Hayne goes back, and it's just scooted low through there to the keeper, who's been able to just get a pad on it.
Yeah, this one didn't look like it got up. Probably a lot of overspin on the ball, and just missed the off stump by a fraction there. Lucky. Went back, Hayne, and maybe should have come forward.
Just Crane is in, and Sam Hayne works smartly out towards that pocket, and he's going to try and look for 2. Sam Hayne looks a little bit frustrated as well that he wasn't able to get back. Bo Webster quite happy to continue ambling these singles.
Yeah, you've got to be a brave man to take, I think, take 2 to the likes of Ace of Tribe down here. That's one thing about this Glamorgan team now. They are quite an athletic fielding side with a lot of kind of guys in their early 20s doing that boundary patrolling.
This one's high. It's going down towards the long-on fielder who's interested. It's over his head. And Ace of Tribe has to go and pick it out of the stands. And Bo Webster, who was quite happy to take the strike and not fish for that 2 at the end of the last delivery, and he kept the strike for a reason, and he's hit Mason Crane over his head for a 6.
Well, that's the shorter boundary here at Cardiff, the straight boundaries, and he got a good connection on that. Probably would have liked to hit it a bit better, but it was enough. Seemed to go quite high, but probably just cleared Ace of Tribe by about 5 or 6 metres there, and another maximum.
This time he fends it into the offside, finds a single. And after that 6, Webster's moving with a little bit more spirit, a little bit more on his toes. He looks a little bit more interested. He's on 28 off 19 and in scintillating form in the Vitality Blast.
Well, they don't want to let the spinner dictate terms here, and it looks like they don't want to just let him settle into his rhythm.
And this is a perfect example now of the boundaries been achieved. They've got the 6. And Sam Hayne happy to rotate. And I wouldn't be surprised if Bo Webster just finds another single on the last delivery and settles for a pretty successful over that might go for 10 here.
Yeah, both scoring at comfortably a run of ball here. This is a dangerous partnership, worth 56 now.
And there's a single from Bo Webster. The 6 has been taken, and it'll be 10 from it. And Mason Crane, he now has figures of 0 for 19 from his 2. And at the halfway mark, 10 overs gone. Warwickshire, good reply, 82 for 2.
Well, I think Warwickshire will be pleased here. They're slowly building the run rate. Haven't taken too many chances. It's seemed pretty solid cricket, hasn't it? It's been quite measured, and they're picking the balls to attack, and they've done that quite successfully. So I think 82 from 2 at halfway stage. You'd think with wickets in hand, they might be looking at sort of 180. Double the score and add another 20 on at this stage, probably the sort of thing they might go for. But I guess it would depend really how long these two can keep going, and if these two can really build a partnership, then and kind of keep batting for another 3 or 4 overs, then you think Warwickshire could get a very good total. So it's Jimmy Neesham, the Kiwi, who's in to bowl his first over from the River Taff end. Oh, and straight away he's been smashed over the leg side for a mighty 6 by Bo Webster.
Yeah, dispatch. He's just been able to stand firm. We've seen a couple of these kind of shots today where it's just been back of a length. It's sat up quite nicely, and Bo Webster has just been able to climb into it and thump it over deep mid-wicket for an easy 6.
Well, maybe a bit of a loose nut. It was halfway down the track and probably not quick enough to really trouble Webster, and he really got hold of all of that. Good reply from Neesham. The ball trickles through to the keeper. I don't know if he took the pace off a bit there or it just didn't bounce. But Chris Cook was scrabbling around trying to get a glove on it first bounce.
I think it would have been a pretty viable play once you've been hit for 6 first ball to then follow up with a little bit of pace off. As we see the replay here. Let's see if we're correct. Yeah, he's just come round. It looks like a leg cutter there. He's just turned away from the batter. Good play.
Yeah, just ran his fingers over it. Loads of experience, Jimmy Neesham.
Looks like he's done the same thing there, just a little bit more into the pitch, just rolled his fingers over it.
So a real chance you get 6 from the first ball of the over. Real chance to kind of get a big over in now. Pressure straight back on the bowler right from the start.
Well, it's interesting. We're approaching the crunch point of the game now, and as you say, a 6 early in the over. That's either the opportunity to, make it a massive over and really change the tides of this game, or it's an opportunity just to settle for 10 from it and get on to the next.
So lots of fielders on the leg side again, and that is pulled to one of them. Kellaway comes round, keeps it to a single. So again, as often happens, this can be a real tactic. You don't mind balls being hit for singles with cross-batted shots into the leg side. The ones that can be dangerous, often the ones that are pitched up and get driven back over the bowler's head. And again, there's no cover. Well, there's one bit of cover. There's one fielder out on the offside boundary. Well, 2 now, they're just putting mid-off back as well, and they brought fine leg up. So, I don't know, Webster may notice there's a space over fine leg's head. Drive straight, probably just going to be one again, as Asa Tribe scurries round and keeps it to a single.
I'll tell you, Sam Hain will be loving this. Sam Hain will be loving, just no pressure on him. Bo Webster's been able to hit a few big sixes in the last few overs, and Sam Hain looking to rotate. He's already got ahead of a runner ball here, and he's just staying positive. He's using the deep men and looking to continue nurdling his way to a runner ball, and he'll be loving batting alongside the mighty Bo Webster.
Goes short again. It's a top edge, a chance. Oh dear.
Oh no.
That is disappointing from a Glamorgan perspective. It's Mason Crane, who I think got caught in 2 minds. Should I go for it, or should I just try and stop the boundary? In the end, he did neither.
Yeah, it looked like he almost didn't want to not go for it, which is why he ended up almost getting 75% of the way to the ball and just pulling out at the last minute. And it's a classic, isn't it? It's the spin that comes off those top edges, and it's just skated past Mason Crane, who now looks to be taken off the bowling. We're going to see a change.
Well, that was a definite chance. A definite chance. Oh, how Glamorgan would have loved to have broken that partnership. We saw a very similar catch in the last game, last Friday against Middlesex, where Asa Tribe, who was at mid-off, raced forward and dived full length and just got his fingers under a very similar ball. But Mason Crane, I think, didn't quite feel he had the confidence to get there, and in the end it was a boundary as well. So not a good result from Glamorgan, as Dan Douthwaite continues now. Goes full and is driven. There's Kellaway. See all the athleticism, sliding stop, picks it up and keeps it to 1. Well, that's a pretty good result from such a good shot from a Glamorgan perspective.
Yeah, I was looking forward to seeing Ben Kellaway get in the action out there on the sweeping boundary. It was a lovely piece of work. He just covers ground at pace, doesn't he? And Dan Douthwaite will be happy that a lovely shot from Bo Webster just settled for 1.
So in Douthwaite again, he won't want to bowl too many in that area, because that is in the slot to be driven through the covers, where once you get it past the skipper, who's just on the edge of the ring now, has gone back a bit to try and provide a bit more cover. Worked into the leg side. Again, managing the risk. They think about 2, but decide against it quite wisely again.
Yeah, these two just continuing exactly how they're going. And they'll be happy to just keep ticking along, get up to 100. And I reckon we might see a little change of tack. I reckon around the 14 over mark, with 6 overs to go. Then they'll be looking to reassess this plan.
So Douthwaite from the Cathedral Road end, flashed through the offside. Good looking shot for a single.
Goodness me.
That was hit hard, wasn't it?
Anything just outside the off stump, just short of a drivable length, Bo Webster's just, as you say, flashing the hands at it. And it's coming up with pace and power. If you're in the way of that in the ring, you'll be looking to get out of the way.
Well, I suppose questions for Dan Douthwaite here. He's strong on both sides of the wicket as Webster, so if he goes short, he's going to be worried that the ball's been deposited into the main stand as well. he'll definitely take that. A single. So actually it's quite a good over so far, again from Douthwaite. I think he's across the season, he's going for about 10 and over, Douthwaite is, you look at his stats. So it has been quite expensive, but I suppose maybe these days in T20 cricket he wouldn't be the only fast bowler who's got that sort of economy rate, but got a chance here if he can stop the boundaries of a tight over and just restraining this Warwickshire innings.
Good bit of pace off there from Douthwaite, and he's got one ball to do. One ball. And we've been talking about how Glamorgan have just built up the pressure to a point and then let it go on a couple of overs, which they've done so well to keep cheap. You know, they've kept the runs away from Warwickshire, and then so often that last ball has gone. So this is a massive delivery for Glamorgan.
Oh, and it's a dot. Well bowled down Douthwaite. That's the best over they've had for a while there. Just 4 singles from it. 99 for 2 now, Warwickshire Bears after 12 overs. And, that's one of the tighter overs we've seen. There's been a boundary pretty much in every over, it seems, for the last sort of 5 or 6. And so they'll be glad to have a tidy one where they felt largely in control, Glamorgan.
Yeah, that over will affect this partnership. They've had a slightly lengthier discussion, as you can see there on screen. And I tell you, I reckon now, after that slightly cheap over, that might just have brought forward the time they'll be looking to reassess. This partnership's done well, but now it's getting to a point where they'll be looking to up the ante, try and build up a few successful overs in a row and try and really set a total beyond the reach of the Glamorgan batters. Ben Kellaway then.
Little pause before he bowled it there. Just a bit like Usman Tariq, who we're looking forward to watch bowl later. Just seemed to wait and delay to see if he could encourage the batter to move. A bit like a penalty taker, trying to pause to get the goalkeeper to show his hand and go one way or the other. Kellaway just a little bit of that as he was coming into bowl there. Coming round the wicket now. Sweeps. They're going to have to hurry. Well, comfortably made. They both went. Hayne responded, well, it was Hayne's call actually, wasn't it? He was running to the danger end. So another single. Yeah, Kellaway went for 19 from his first 3, 1 for 19. So it's been pretty good stuff from him. Decent economy rate, and we'll want to finish well here. Another single.
They'll now be feeling the boundary pressure. It'll be looming on their minds now, these two. And Sam Hayne has done very well to play the supporting role. And the pressure is on Beau Webster. Can he continue that 6 hitting ability that we've seen earlier in the game?
Shorter, that's in the air, and I think that is going to go all the way. Yeah, another fine, clean strike from Beau Webster. Effortless, it seemed. And that's another maximum. And again, just injecting a bit more momentum into this Warwickshire Bears innings.
Yeah, he's found it again, hasn't he? He hasn't missed his length at all there, Ben Kellaway. And all Beau Webster's done is completely open up his stance, freed up the arms, and swung to all of his might, and he's connected. It's gone miles.
Well, they're long boundaries, but he's clearing them quite easily. Round the wicket this time. Throws it across. Oh, an athletic dive. Didn't quite get his hand to it. It's just going to be a single.
That was a good change of pace there from Ben Kellaway. Slightly slower delivery that got pumped into next week. Prior to that one, this time just speeding it up, keeping it wide, and Beau Webster struggling to time that one. Moves to 47.
He came round to Webster there. It's coming back over to Hayne. So just again trying to mix it up himself, just to keep the batters guessing. Hayne looked a little bit disappointed with his head down as he shuffles down to the other end. Hope for a better connection there, but it was a single. 5 singles in a 6. So another good over for Warwickshire as they move on now to 110 for 2, going almost 8.5. Lovely evening here in Cardiff. Good to see a decent crowd getting the weekend off to the best possible start in the main stand. There could be quite a warm evening. Definitely shades and caps territory, I think.
Yeah, certainly is. As we see a certain Mason Crane return to try and break this now 85-run partnership. Sam Hayne arrived at 25 for 2. There were 2 wickets in the space of 3 balls when Zen Malik and Rob Yates, who looked dangerous at the start, got dismissed.
So no wicket for 19 so far, Crane, from his 2 overs. That's been swept in the air again. Oh, and again, just dropped short. Looked a little bit as if Dan Douthwaite half lost that in the sun. The sun at this time of day really does come in low over the pavilion through the gap between over the Hugh Morris Cricket Centre, and shining right in the eyes of the fielder down there. He's got his cap and his glasses on, but still quite tricky to pick the ball up. But did well to keep it to a single. In the air again. This time it's out. Brilliant catch. And I think it's Sean Dixon. Well, that's how to do it. That's how to take the low catches. And Sean Dixon has taken a very important catch in the context of this match. Bo Webster, the danger man, started to hit the ball cleanly over the ropes. Well, he's gone for 47. And a little bit of relief for Glamorgan.
Yeah, huge wicket at a crucial time. You saw it in Mason Crane's celebration. It was a passionate roar from him and a great catch. Look at this diving forward, judged to perfection. And it wasn't long ago where Mason Crane just struggled to get a hold of one that was coming in a similar trajectory down to fine leg. But that time Sean Dixon picking up on it perfectly, sun in his eyes, diving forward and comfortably just above the ground. So a huge wicket there, and now Sam Hain is going to have to play a slightly different role. But good man to come in here for Warwickshire Bears, Dan Mousley, and you've got to say, Bo Webster done his job pretty well there.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, a very good knock. Has really, 47 at that sort of strike rate off 31 balls. Well, that's a really good contribution, and of course came in at a tricky time as well with 2 batters just going in quick succession. So he's done a really good job for his side, and you think has laid a good platform here for Mousley, the England Lions captain. Will know a few of the boys in this team, not least Mason Crane, who of course will have been in his Lions side fairly recently as well. So interesting battle this. Crane against Mousley, the left-hander. And can Glamorgan take a couple and get right back in this?
And Dan Mousley very happy just to get off the mark there into the leg side. So it'll be interesting now to see how Sam Hain goes about his business. He's been very much playing second fiddle to the brute hitting at times from Bo Webster. So we'll see now. How is Sam Hain going to change tack, or will he continue?
I've got to say, his strike rate is pretty decent still. 37 from 28, Hain. So he's no slouch. Has been picking the right balls to hit, I suppose that's been the key thing. Just taking the singles, and when there's not much on offer, and then really going for it when the ball's in the zone. So it's Crane then to Mousley. Full delivery, swept really nicely, and actually swept that brilliantly. Well, didn't think he'd got great contact on it, but the ball fairly raced across the turf there, and that's the first boundary for Mousley. And well, he'll feel if he can hang around for a few more overs, could get Warwickshire up to that 180 plus territory, which will certainly be a challenging total to chase. 117 for 3. That'll just be one.
That sweep shot is something we haven't seen a lot of today at all. Not either of Bo Webster or Sam Hain getting that shot to work. It hasn't taken Dan Mousley very long at all to get one firing away towards the boundary. And he ended the over with a nice comfortable single, so he'll keep the strike alongside Sam Hain as the Warwickshire Bears look to set that total. So 6 overs to go, as you mentioned. So 60, so 10 and over from now would take them to 180, wouldn't it? And I think 180, if they can maybe even push the 190 mark, that'd be a great score on this surface, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would certainly make for a very exciting chase. Well, here's an interesting decision. It's Asa Tribe is going to bowl with his Sunal Narain style off breaks. This is a bit of a collector's item. I don't think I've seen him bowl in the blast before, but confident guy. Often see him out there sort of warming up with the bowlers, and so today he's been given his chance. They clearly think his sort of bowling might be what they need at the moment. So he hangs the ball behind his back. As you can see, quite an unusual sort of technique and style. There it is. Passes the ball from left to right. And so far, been pretty tidy. Just a couple of singles.
So it's interesting. there's 4 overs left for McAndrew and Douthwaite, who have both gone at a pretty good click, a pretty good economy. Whereas Van der Hoogten and Neesham, a little bit more expensive.
Well, 3 singles so far from this ace of tribe over. Pleased with that. I do feel surprised that he's come on. I wasn't expecting that. He's not. I wouldn't normally even be the 3rd spinner in this side. You'd normally think Kieran Carlson might bowl a few ahead of him, but he's obviously been practicing, got a plan. I think he can do a job for the team here. And just another single. Well, he's doing his job at the moment, really is.
Well, it could be an inspired call, couldn't it? Because Mason Crane's got one more, which he'll bowl the next one from this end. And then it looks like they're going to bowl out Douthwaite and McAndrew. So they just needed one over a spin from somewhere. And they found it from Acer Tribe, who is doing his role absolutely tremendously.
Yeah, it's pretty flat, but right on the money. There's been nothing loose to hit at the moment. Not giving any width. Has not dropped it short. On it quite flat. And just the 5 singles so far. So, can Acer Tribe exit the 15th over? Oh, I think he's done it. Well, that is a very tidy over, really, from a part-time bowler. Just 6 singles from it. And after 15 overs, Warwickshire 124 for 3.
Yeah, that's an interesting over, and it's come at such an important time. And to throw the ball to Acer Tribe when an expensive over brings 200 into the mix, you know, and Acer Tribe has controlled it, and he's brought it just to 6 runs, which now it's stalled the momentum, hasn't it? And now all of a sudden that 180 looks at that little bit further away, and Sam Hain in a great position now with Mason Crane to bowl his final over. It's changed the tides.
Very interesting call. It is an interesting call. I mean, he is a supremely confident guy, and if one guy who will at least give it a go, you know it's Acer Tribe. He backs himself 100% in everything he does, and he's really done a good job for his team there.
As that one just beats the edge. Mason Crane returning to the attack. And Sam Hain, you can see, sometimes it just takes the start of a new over when it comes to crunch time in T20 cricket, where you see batters just come out with a new vein. And I think Sam Hain's looking to hurry things along here. And as that one is chopped down, and we'll get a single. They're looking for 2 here, Sam Hain, but no, don't want to test out Ben Kellaway's arm, I'm sure.
Look, Glamorgan will put together a few overs now where there's not a boundary at this stage of the match. I think that could be, they'll see that as a real success. And well, no boundaries in the previous over. And that'll be the aim, you think, here from Mason Crane as well. Won't mind dealing in a few singles. Dots are even better.
And that sweep from Dan Mousley, which he looks to be enjoying, to the leg spin of Mason Crane. Earns him an extra single. It really does feel like they've been crawling along here, Warwickshire Bears. Ever since that wicket of Bo Webster, it's been a different game. And Mason Crane is looking to keep that pressure on. If they can go another boundaryless over, Glamorgan are on top. Sweep shot, big appeal. Looks close, maybe just missing the off stump as that hit the back thigh of Sam Hain. As he looks to manipulate a new gap.
Well, let's have a look at this. I think, yeah, probably, maybe even just pitched outside off and was probably turning and doing a bit too much. So I think good decision from the umpire there.
It's Mason Crane. And down the track comes Sam Hain. A brilliant shot, 1 bounce 4. He moves to 46. A little bit of intent from him as he gets another boundary. And Hain is going to be the pivotal part of this Warwickshire Bears attack now with the bat. And it's a crucial last 4.5 overs now.
Well, that was the release shot. Used his feet, got to the pitch and hit it straight back over his head. Very effective here at Cardiff. Tries to go again. It's not got the angle this time. It's Acer Tribe. Can't keep it to a single. So scurried through to a 2. Decent over in the end. 8 runs from it. And Mason Crane finishes, 1 for 35.
Yeah, how important was that boundary, Ash? Hey, it felt like it was building. There was 10 balls there without a boundary at this crunch time in the T20 match. And it was a pressure release, wasn't it? And Sam Hain now moves 2 runs off of 50. And with 4 overs to go, 132 for 3. That 180 mark would be a great result for Warwickshire Bears, it feels.
Well, I think you're right. It was just one over, Fraser Tribe, I think. And so he's back off to his fielding position in the deep. And the ball's been thrown to Nathan McAndrew again, who has been one of the tighter bowlers this season for Glamorgan. He's only gone from 6 and over from his 2 overs so far. And so you think he might well try and bowl out here.
Right arm over. That inside edge is not going to earn him a single as Chris Cook tries to throw the stumps down. It would have been close, but Mousley would have been safe.
Yeah, key moment here. And McAndrew again, I think, saw him stepping across, threw the ball a little bit wider. And, well, they'll be relieved he didn't go for that. What Warwickshire do not need at this stage is a calamity run out that would just, I think, could take the wind out of their sails at such a crucial time here with just 4 overs to go. Going at just over 8. Got to pick it up a bit, you'd think.
That one out the back of the hand. And it's going to be called a wide, which feels the perfect decision, considering I think it was almost off the pitch at the time it went past Dan Mousley.
He's moving around, isn't he, Mousley, I think? And so I think McAndrew is trying to adjust his line as well. And I think that time, I don't know if he got dummied a little bit by Mousley and threw the ball too wide in the end. So Mousley just trying to put McAndrew off by moving around in his crease here.
The switch hit, it's gone high over third man. What an incredible shot from Dan Mousley. He switched it around, used the pace, and hit it high up over the boundary, and it's gone into the stands for 6. That is an immaculate cricket shot.
It's outrageous. It's an outrageous shot. To even attempt that from a bowler of McAndrew's pace, stepped almost facing straight down the wicket, where the wide stance has just flicked it effortlessly, and that has gone absolutely miles. You know how long these corners are, this ground? That is a long, long way. That is one of the shots, well, one of the best shots I've seen this year. Incredible, effortless talent.
He's such an incredible player, is Mousley. And here he goes again, this time pulling. It's in the air, but it's gone for 4. Landing just in front of the boundary, 2 fielders converging, couldn't get close enough, and that's 10 runs from the last 2 balls. And Dan Mousley is spearheading this counter-attack for Warwickshire Bears.
Well, it's brilliant batting. Goes one way with the improvised shot, and then a more conventional shot, this time pulled through the leg side, but hit with great power and, importantly, impressive accuracy. There's only about 30 metres between those 2 fielders then. You have to get exactly right to get it between them. And he did that, hit it very, very cleanly, all the way along the floor. And that's 2 boundaries from 2 balls. And Mousley on the counter-attack here, trying to push Warwickshire to a big total.
McAndrew goes short again, and Mousley's going to find a single out towards deep backward square leg. An eventful couple of balls ends in a single, and I think this Dan Mousley innings could really tell the eventual conclusion of this game. And it's so often when you get a good partnership, the next player comes in, and if they get out quickly, all of a sudden things start to shut down for the batting side. But Dan Mousley has been able to come in, instantly start his innings, and keep that momentum going from the previous partnership.
Well, Sam Hain just having a look around as McAndrew just adjusts the field a little bit, just moving a few fielders round on the leg side boundary, just 2 away from his half century now is Sam Hain.
So McAndrew is in, it's a leading edge, and it's just gone through the gap, it's square leg, and it looked like it was destined for the hands of the cover fielder. Blimey.
A little bit lucky, leading edge, tried to turn the ball into the space on the leg side. I think just turned his wrists on it a bit too early, and it hit the leading edge, and lucky for him, it ballooned up right into the one place that Glamorgan didn't have a fielder. Gets away with it, survives, but he's played well, so he deserves a little bit of luck, you'd say. He's earned his luck there. 49 not out now, and can stand at the other end and watch his captain, who's hitting the ball very cleanly.
Mousley, full toss, hits it through extra cover. There's a small gap which he's found. That's going to run away for another boundary. And Dan Mousley, he is playing magnificently here. He's kept up that momentum, as we mentioned, and he ends the boundary with a 4, an expensive 1-2. And Nathan McAndrew is going to be gutted that his figures have just gone slightly downhill, and they've let Warwickshire Bears back into the game. They're 1 run off the 150 mark. It's 149 for 3 with 3 overs to go.
Great batting from Mousley. he's just moving across and getting outside of off stump here, and I think that's been troubling McAndrew. Doesn't quite know where to bowl it, and that time turned out to be a full toss, and Mousley put that away, hit it all the way along the floor through a gap. There was no cover out there, and another boundary. Expensive over from McAndrew, and a bit of pressure back on Glamorgan here. He felt like they were wrestling back a bit of control, but Mousley, since he's come in, well, he really has shifted things Warwickshire's way. 3 overs to go. And what are we thinking? 3 overs to go. If they get 10s and over, it's sort of the 180 area. But they'll be looking for more than that.
Yeah, 180 back on the cards as Jimmy Neesham is back into the attack. And it's a full wide Yorker, which is almost perfect bowling at this stage in a T20. Dan Mosley can only make it for a single. It's 150 up for the Warwickshire Bears. And at 25 for 2, halfway through the 3rd over, this is an almighty comeback from the light blue and yellow and dark blue. Actually, 3 colours on there.
And that was the 50 from Hayne as well. He was very low-key about it. Clearly feels he's got more work to do and didn't want to hang around celebrating. So 50 from 39 balls with 1 6 and 4 4s.
Yeah, brilliant knock for Warwickshire. As Neesham continues, no one of those reverse ramps. And it's just gone through to a dribbling single. And Neesham looks to be a good bowling change. I was a little bit worried. He came in with 13 from his first over. But now he's managing to prevent any momentum being built.
Interesting what that hit. That's probably maybe just come off his bat then onto his pad, because if it's gone straight onto his pad, I'm sure they would be screaming for LBW. I think he just got a little bit of bat on it. But yeah, definitely with Mousley in particular, he's prepared to play high-risk shots, and at the moment most of them are coming off.
As Neesham is in. And backing away there is Sam Hayne, looking to ramp it up over fine leg and can't quite get hold of it. They'll jog through to another single.
There's maybe a bit of chat going on out there. Hayne talking to Jimmy Neesham as he walked back to his mark. Looks fairly friendly. Not sure what they're saying. But
those discussions always tend to happen after when a ball hits a batter. You always feel like it might just bring a little bit more out of him or cause a bit of tension. Who knows? But Neesham bowling very well in this over.
Well, what if Mousley will be looking for the ramp shot again with all the fielders behind, next to the wicketkeeper, up in the circle? He does go behind, but can't get it past. Short fine.
Yeah, seeing a lot of lateral movement here from the batters. Actually, they're doing a lot of stepping across their stumps and using the crease and seeing what they can do just to try and make that length a little bit easier to hit.
That's what I like. None of the Warwickshire batters have really just been prepared to stand there and kind of take their medicine here, or just let a bowler bowl got a good line of length at them. They've been moving around, and I think you'd have to say it's worked. Both the openers at the top and Webster and Hayne and now Mousley are moving around a little bit, and it is asking questions of the bowlers.
I wonder if the Glamorgan batters will take a look at that and use it in their innings. As Neesham's in again, and a ramp is not connected from Sam Hayne. He's almost played it into his own stumps.
I think that's hit the back of the bat. He's gone for the ramp shot, and I think it's kind of got wedged in almost between the ground and the back of the bat, and just trickled out to fine leg.
Well, we'll see here. He's trying to use the pace, and I think it's just come off the ankle almost. Actually, I think his leg by is given by the umpire, but Neesham not missing his length at all. It's a brilliant spell of bowling here from him, and the experience is paying off. If he can take the wicket at Dan Mousley, that last 2 overs is going to be much easier for Glamorgan. As he steps across and bowls, Neesham gets the wicket. A brilliant over that has changed this game for Glamorgan. He claps his hands, and he is mightily pleased with that one. Just 5 singles from it. That last ball was so important. We've said it so many times this innings. And to get a wicket with the last, he dismisses the dangerous Dan Mousley for 27 from 15. And with 2 overs to go, 154 for 4. This is a real change in the tides.
Mousley, big danger man. They'll be very glad to see the back of him. And it's a great piece of bowling. He's been sort of nailing his Yorker length really well. And that time actually just comes off the heel by the looks of it of Mousley. He was probably going to miss off stump. He'd had a few which had just trickled wide of the stumps earlier from little inside edges, but finally gets the bit of luck he needs there, and you can see what it means to Neesham. They know that's a big wicket. Another 3 overs of Dan Mousley, and they could be looking at 190 plus. But as it is, I think they'll fancy their chances here. The skipper, Ed Barnard, coming out into the middle now. But I think Glamorgan will feel they might just have got rid of a man who could do them some serious damage. And it's a question now of how they can negotiate these last 2 overs. Can Glamorgan keep the number of boundaries down and maybe even keep Warwickshire to less than 170? They would see that as a triumph if they could do it.
They certainly will. As Douthwaite is in here, and a slapping shot from Sam Hain. They're going to push for 2. Look at this from Sam Hain. No, he's happy to settle for 1. And now Ed Barnard. He's got a massively important role here to play as skipper for Warwickshire Bears. Dan Mousley did it so well to come in, keep the momentum up. And now Ed Barnard has got to see Sam Hain through the final 2 overs.
I'll be very surprised if he pitches many of these up. That's certainly not what the field is set for here. It's set for the ball to be dug in the middle, and lots of fielders on the leg side boundary.
Ed Barnard chipping it back down the ground. Again, just to the long on fielders left, and they're going to get through to a single, 2, sorry. So Sam Hain returning to the danger end safely.
Maybe it's a double bluff, as it was quite pitched up there, and pushed back down for, in the end, quite a comfortable 2. But as he surveyed, Barnard just surveying the leg side, and they will see 4 fielders out on the boundary all the way round.
Douthwaite is in. And that is huge. It's really high. Oh, no, it's not. The fielder's coming and he's not going to make it. It's just gone so high. And Ace of Tribe now has a shot at the bowler's end. Goodness me. It looked like it was being sent well over the river. And all of a sudden, it just stopped moving. And it started dropping and ended up landing inside the ring.
Well, it was like a pitching wedge, that one. When he hit it, you thought, oh, that's a 5-iron. That one's in the river. And then suddenly it turned into a pitching wedge, went very, very high. And in the end, it only really just got to the edge of the circle. And Ace of Tribe had about 20 metres to go and couldn't quite get there.
As this time, Ed Barnard is slapping it over mid-on. And I think it's got the legs. It does. Bounces just inside the rope and skips into the crowd. And that is a boundary, which I thought was going to come from the last ball as I saw it sailing over the rope. But nope. There is the 4, and Ed Barnard is looking to be ticking along quite nicely.
Well, it was short, but I think Douthwaite just got the line wrong there. We expect to bowl short, but there he kind of bowled it short and wide outside off stump, and rather than cut it, Barnard played like a tennis shot, and it was very effective.
Fielder's gone out. This time it's top edge. It's going out towards the deep cover fielder, who's in the place, dropped it, and to his right, the sun was in his eyes. And Ed Barnard, who didn't quite get hold of it, he hit it over the infield, and Nathan McAndrew parrying it over the rope. And again, another important boundary, and Ed Barnard, he moves on to 12 off 4, and he's getting Warwickshire Bears up towards the 180 mark.
Well, he did well to get there, McAndrew. It looked like actually he was there comfortably and got his hands in the right position, but couldn't cling on, so a let-off, and this is turning out to be a good over for Warwickshire.
And that's been left alone. It's going to be a dot. Ed Barnard's going to be a little bit gutted with that one. But it's a dot to end, pretty expensive over there.
Yeah,
and
13
now,
from it.
With just the 1 over to go, Warwickshire Bears will be looking for maximum impact, and Glamorgan will be looking to take a couple of wickets in this final 1, stall the momentum.
Well, Douthwaite, we feel disappointed there. A couple of catches have gone down from Glamorgan, which is not been what they've been like this season. They pride themselves on high standards, and I seemed like McAndrew had done the hard bit. He'd got there, he'd run round well, and seemed to have judged it really well, got his hands in a nice position, but in the end it didn't stick. You know, none of the catches I suppose are easy, particularly on that side with the sun, and it's a let-off for Warwickshire as Jimmy Neesham will bowl the last over.
Stepping across is Hain, turning it around the corner, just be a single. He looked so comfortable underneath it, didn't he? I thought it was straight in the bread basket.
He didn't have to dive, he didn't have to throw his arms out, he had them close to his body in the position, but it just didn't stick. And I suppose then that dreaded moment where you see it roll out of your hands, bounce off your knee and go over the boundary as well. So double disappointment.
It was quite astonishing, just as I said, from going to, he looked so comfortable, and then to see it roll over the boundary was just a complete shock. As Neesham sets off 168 for 4 here. And stepping back is Ed Barnard as he looks to carve it through. It's a good diving stop in the end. Just be a single.
Yeah, Tim van der Hoften, big fast bowler, does well. Gets down to it. And he bowled 2 overs today as van der Hoften. So I think they decided that maybe spin was the way to go. He was a little bit expensive, van der Hoften, so now just been haven't seen much of him today.
Yeah,
good stop though.
Yeah, I think it's surprising that then we saw Asa try, but I wonder if maybe something's slightly wrong. Maybe if Van der Hoften doesn't feel comfortable bowling out his spell. Who knows? As Jimmy Neesham runs in now. And Sam Hain gets a hold of a full toss. The fielder's in it, but no, it's over his head. It was a good attempt from Sean Dixon, but it's gone flying in. And it hasn't really got too high off the ground. Just a great connection from Sam Hain. But Jimmy Neesham has missed his mark by a long way, and Hain has punished him.
Well, very clean strike again. Full toss, picked up from outside off stump and hit very hard and very flat. And, well, my sympathies with the people sitting in the front row there, because I think they must have, for a moment, their life must have flashed before them as they saw that one incoming like a tracer bullet. Well, thankfully, seems to have missed everyone. They got out of the way. And it's another 6 to this Warwickshire innings.
As Neesham goes full again, and a brilliant shot from Sam Hain. He uses the pace and just swoops another full toss past his left shoulder, beats the keeper, beats short fine leg. 4 more to Sam Hain and to Warwickshire Bears as they move to 179 for 4.
Well, they're going for the big finish here, and everything's coming off of them at the moment. 2 great shots, 2 successive boundaries, and they looks like they are going to get past 180. And well, I think probably Hain will only have one thing in mind here. Can he get a couple more boundaries here?
I think it was the right call to keep on with Neesham. He bowled a brilliant penultimate over in his spell. He's now looking to arrest back the momentum. A ramp attempted by Hain. A chance for a run out, and it's missed. And it means it'll just be a single.
Yeah, Chris Cook thought I think he would have got him if he'd hit the stumps with his throw, and just missed the stumps there. So, as you can see, missed. Would have been out, yeah, by some margin, but in the end didn't make contact, and so it's just a single run through a bye, and 180 for 4, 1 ball to go, and I imagine if he can, Barnard's going to throw the kitchen sink at this one.
There we go. They've hit the 180 mark. Anything more is a bonus. Barnard on strike. Ramp attempted and ramp secured. Brilliant shot from Ed Barnard to end this excellent comeback from Warwickshire Bears. They were 25 for 2. Malik and Yates went in 3 balls for 9 and 13. And it looked like Warwickshire were going to end the game before they got rid of the power play. But no, they got through. 111 for 3 it was when Webster fell for 47 from 32. A great knock from him. Dan Mousey played a brilliant counterpart innings alongside Sam Hain. But he's been the real role in this innings from Warwickshire Bears. He finished on 63 for 46. A great little cameo at the end from Ed Barnard, who made 17 off 7. But you've got to say, 184 feels like a great result for Warwickshire.
Yeah, I think that was a classy finish. Very good last over, and that's got them up to, I think, where they will need to be. Some real momentum towards the end there from Mousley in particular, but everyone kind of joined in really, and Hain really holding all together with an excellent 63. And, well, 185 to win. That's what Glamorgan need. And, well, that could be a challenging total, you'd think. I think they'll back themselves to chase 180 plus. And obviously, interesting, Glamorgan did win the toss and chose to chase. And so I think they do see themselves as a chasing side. I think it's what they like to do. And that's why they've chosen to do it. They like being here, big total on the board and setting themselves that challenge. So they'll have to go some, you think, to get, well, that's of 9, over 9 and over. And so I wouldn't be surprised if Kieran Carson and Will Smale kind of really give it a go from the top. That's their job. Smale, the one player who's not really come off in this batting lineup this season so far. But you think that he will probably give it a crack. And, yeah, I think game on. Absolutely game on. Warwickshire played that very nicely. The game ebbed and flowed a little bit, but my sense was that actually, Warwickshire will be very pleased, particularly from where they were sort of midway through the power play, to have got to that point. And they'll they'll be going in with a sense of a job quite well done, I think.
Yeah, they certainly will be pleased. It was interesting because it felt like at any point that they had the ability to really push on with the game, it felt like they lost a wicket. Bo Webster was in a great position on 47. Dan Mousley came in, played a great role, got out for 27. It felt like at each point they were ready to kick on, they lost a wicket. But I think where Warwickshire did so well in this game is every single wicket they bounced back, didn't they? Dan Mousley came in after Bo Webster and Sam Hain partnership, great little cameo. And Ed Barnard came in, played the skipper's role, great cameo again at the end. And it feels like when Bo Webster got dismissed, when Dan Mousley got dismissed, they didn't really feel the repercussions because the man coming in did so well.
Yeah, absolutely. The wickets didn't slow them down too much, as often they can. And I think Glamorgan bowlers did find it quite hard. I think straight away there was a real sense of challenge from the Warwickshire batters. They were moving around. They were determined not to let the bowlers dictate terms. And when you look at the bowling figures, you'd have to say that it's quite a difficult afternoon for bowlers who normally you can rely on to sort of bowl 6 and 7s and be pretty tidy. Tim van der Hoofden went for more than 10. McAndrew again, normally very tidy and tied again, just under 10, only took a wicket. Probably Kellaway was the pick in the end, 1 for 30 from his 4. He did bowl quite nicely and seemed to have a measure of control. But I think the thing was, not many overs went by without a boundary, and I think that's what Warwickshire did very well, is managed to find those boundaries. And even when the bowling was quite tight, they were pretty ruthless on the loose ball and put it away. Yeah,
you can't really put your finger on anything in particular in the Glamorgan bowling spells that you thought they didn't carry out that well. You've got to say actually it was more great batting from Warwickshire at points. Jimmy Neesham not quite bowling where he wanted to in the final over. But no, it's going to be interesting now. Usman Tariq's going to come out and bowl. 4 overs from him could be quite important on this deck. And also Richard Gleeson, his ability to change speeds, vary his speeds. That's going to be very crucial on this deck. And we'll see how the likes of Chris Wokes get on as well. And I think Glamorgan might be slightly worried because Warwickshire have got such a strong bowling lineup, but we know the depth in this Glamorgan batting side, that it's going to be a great finish to this game. And 185 probably feels maybe just beyond par or just about par. Yeah, I tell you, it's set up for a great finish, isn't it?
Yeah, game on, absolutely is. So Glamorgan need 185 to win this vital match. If they win, you think they probably will go second in this group, be where they want to be with just a few games, 4 games left to play. We are going to have a quick break now, go and have a cup of tea, and we will see you back here probably in about 5 minutes for the Glamorgan chase. So we'll see you shortly.
See you soon.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Quick turnaround, and that's Chris Woakes, a figure you'll know if you've watched any cricket over the last decade or so. English cricket, he's been a key man, and he's going to open up here for Warwickshire with a Glamorgan needing 185, and Kieran Carlson is off the mark first ball. The Glamorgan skipper chopping the ball down behind square on the offside, and they're underway. So a run rate required of about 9.25. So yeah, 9.28 the required rate at the moment. And Will Smale, whose job really is to give momentum to the innings, faces his first ball and plays a very similar shot to the skipper.
And Chris Woakes is going to have a huge role to play. And actually, he's so well known for his line and length, isn't he? But he's not actually been the most successful bowler of the Warwickshire side. But his experience will be absolutely key if Warwickshire to get off to a good start with the ball in this innings.
Well, Woakes getting to know this ground. Of course, he's going to be playing for Welsh Fire here in just a couple of weeks. So useful practice for him too. And beats Kieran Carlson, all ends up. Hands go up all over the Warwickshire side. I think they thought he'd got a little edge on it. But the Glamorgan skipper survives, but only by a whisker.
Yeah, a little bit of movement here from Chris Woakes. A bit of a way swing, just going on with the arm, beating Kieran Carlson. That's a good sign there for Chris Woakes. We didn't see much of that at all in the Glamorgan bowling spell. Well,
that's absolute beauty, isn't it? Classic away swinger. So, not normally much swing with a white ball. Doesn't last very long, but he'll get the most out of it. As Carlson drives, hasn't hit it cleanly. I don't think it's going to go all the way. Just hauled in now, and they come back for a couple. As Ed Barnard, the skipper, does the chasing.
Well, how much of that did we see from the Warwickshire batters? The advancing down the track, the going deep in the crease, especially with Chris Woakes, who can be so metronomic, so just dialed in on a line and length. Actually, to knock him off his length early doors seems to be the way to go.
Such a great cricketer. Double world champion, Chris Woakes. Big appeal, big appeal. Oh, they were... Again, felt pretty confident, but in the end, Glamorgan have scurried through for a single, possibly going down leg side, you'd think, having a look at it, as Carlson tried to play the sweep shot. We'll have a look now at how close that was tap on the back from the umpire, saying bad luck, I think, there.
Blimey, that's close, isn't it? I reckon it's umpire's call on the leg stump. And what's really helping Chris Woakes is his natural away swing, and that's actually almost keeping it on line. So I wouldn't have been surprised at all if the umpire would have given that, but it was a 50-50, wasn't it?
Yeah, just got the benefit of the doubt there. Oof, and again, desperate to try and get these singles going here. Smale had gone down 3 or 4 strides, and that would have been very close if Gleeson had hit. But as it is, they survive. Tidy over, as you'd expect, from Chris Woakes, just 5 from it. And at the end of the first, Glamorgan 5 without loss.
Well, he's done incredibly well there, Smale, to actually hit that shot down towards third man. And it was such a straight delivery from Chris Woakes. Might not have just swung away as much as Will Smale anticipated, and to be able to get back on that, to play it fine down towards third man, that was quite some shot in the end. But we're going to see Richard Gleeson, and he's been so impressive of late. That 4 for 19 of 3 overs he picked up in the last game against Sussex. He is going to be so important on this surface.
So Gleeson to the Glamorgan captain Carlson. Good pace, a real old war horse, and he's 38 years old now, Gleeson. One of those bowlers who has travelled the world playing franchise cricket because of his ability to bowl quick, really, and bowl with variations, and he's played everywhere, really. Played in the IPL last year, I think it's been the PSL this year, 2026, and been the Big Bash as well, so there's not much he hasn't done in T20 cricket. Got an England cap as well, of course. Oof. And that's going to go for 4. Did he get an edge on it? He did. Little inside edge there from Kieran Carlson. Little bit of luck for the skipper, and that fairly raced away to the boundary.
Yeah, that'll be gutting there for Richard Gleeson. He's bowled a good ball there, almost beating the bat, and I tell you, that is so close to the off stump. And Glamorgan getting their attack underway. It's 9 for none now.
Well, I don't know if you believe in moral victories, but you have to say that was one of those. Glamorgan won't care though. They've got a boundary, and they're glad for that. But challenging stuff from this opening bowlers. Oh, Carlson's gone high. Now that's in the air. I don't think there's a fielder out there. He's going to get away with it, whatever happens. It plugs and just rolls for 4. So that was like the 9-iron approach to the green. It just landed. I don't think it had backspin on it, but it was so high when it hit the floor, it just stopped, but had just enough on it to creep to the boundary rope, and that's another boundary, successive boundaries, with 2 very different shots from the Glamorgan skipper.
Yeah, well, I was just about to mention the ball before was almost incredibly similar to how Zen Malik got out in the first innings, swinging with all his might and getting clean bowled. And Kieran Carlson, after inside edging down towards fine leg, this time similar shot, but completely different result. 4 more.
Goes again. Oh, and that's massive. Absolutely enormous. It's the biggest one of the day. And put down in the crowd. But this is a statement of intent from Glamorgan. 3 successive boundaries, and that's the best of the lot.
A mahoosive shot deep in the crease, and he just stands tall, doesn't he? Let's watch this. Wow, he's absolutely whacked it. I thought for a minute it was going to go up onto the roof of the grandstand. A terrific shot from Kieran Carlson, and it hasn't taken him long to find his groove.
Well, this over is getting Glamorgan off to a flyer after the tidiness of Wokes over 1. Gleeson, who could count himself a bit unlucky, has now gone for 3 boundaries. Good comeback. Again, Carlson trying to move around a bit and ask questions of Gleeson. Tried to give himself room and run that one so over short third man, so get it up in the air and chop it over the fielder, but couldn't get bat on it. That's coming through at a fair lick, you'd think. High 80s, I'd imagine, just by the look of it and where the keeper's standing.
He's thoroughly enjoying himself out there, Kieran Carlson, and trying to manoeuvre a ball over leg stump down to third man for 4 would have been pretty impressive. And Richard Gleeson doesn't look too pleased right now, I think it's fair to say. And Kieran Carlson on the front foot.
Well, 2 dot balls to finish, but the damage was done a little bit earlier on with 3 boundaries, 14 from the over. And, well, it's not often a good thing to do, to make big fast bowlers angry, but I suspect Gleeson is walking back to his fielding position with the heart pumping a little bit faster, and he'll probably have the bit between his teeth and will want to come back and make Carlson regret that he ever deposited him into the stand in the way that he did. Such an emphatic shot.
Well, if you made the bowler angry, you're doing something right, aren't you?
Correct.
And Kieran Carlson, I mean, some of the connections in that last over, blimey. Well, Chris Wokes to continue. He, on the other hand, had a very successful first over, going for just 4, and he'll be looking to pick up where he left off.
Smell comes down the pitch, clips that over mid-wicket, and that's going to race away too. Well, Will Smell getting in on the action. Lots of intent from this Glamorgan opening pair, and that's another boundary, and Glamorgan's rate is already over 10.
Well, I was worried for a minute because Will Smale, he's only faced 2 balls, and we've seen such pyrotechnics from the other end with Kieran Carlson going huge. And I was worried that Will Smale might just try and carry on how Carlson left off, but it was a nice shot, skipped away along the wickets for another good boundary.
Fuller on leg stump. They run the first one quickly, decide wisely not to go for a second. So Smell, his job in this team, I think, is to hit the ball and hit the boundaries, take some risks and take some chances. Sometimes when Carlson gets off to a flyer, sometimes Smell doesn't seem like he faces that many balls and is standing watching, and can sometimes play second fiddle. But his natural game in this format is definitely to strike the ball. And so it looks like they're both going to give it a go here. As Carlson goes straight, another fine strike, 1 bounce for 4, and the Glamorgan skipper properly looks in the mood tonight.
And now Chris Wokes is under the cosh. He's gone for a couple of boundaries now in this over. He hasn't bowled too poorly, and that's just a few inches too full. And it's a lovely lofted drive over Bo Webster, who's a tall man, but he's cleared him comfortably. And it's a one bounce for Carlson.
So 28 without loss, and Carlson already into the 20s of just 11 balls, 21 off 11. Chasing, of course, 185 here. And they're going nicely at this stage. Rode their luck early on, but actually they seem to have settled down quite nicely and are seeing the ball well.
Yeah, I do think so much for Glamorgan, though, just hangs on how they respond to losing a wicket. I think if they lose a wicket soon, and then all of a sudden the pressure starts to build up and they have a few poor overs, that's where the game could be won or lost.
Oh, wow! Wow! That is even bigger! That is spectacular! Kieran Carlson, a trademark shot. He smashed it into the pavilion. Well, he is seeing the ball like a football, and that is another unbelievable shot.
It's being hung outside the off stump here from Chris Wokes, and Carlson has whipped it over deep backwards square leg, and now the boundary is brought well in from the advertisement fencing, and it's cleared the advertisement boards, and it's gone a few rows back into the pavilion. A master of a shot there.
Well, this is eye-catching batting. He's an entertainer, and the crowd here are being served up something pretty special in these first few overs here. Kieran Carlson just seems to be prepared to play outrageous shots to good balls, and at the moment, it's really working. Just takes the pace off there, Wokes, bit of experience, but they still scurry through for a single. So probably Kieran Carlson needs to get up the other end and just let his heart rate calm down a bit.
You can't get too carried away, can he? I'm not sure if this pitch has somehow miraculously improved since the Warwickshire batters went out to start their innings. But I think it must just be Kieran Carlson's stroke play. He's just been able to pick up on any off length, and he's just carted it away to the boundary.
Oh, another great ball. And Carlson's going to run and gets there as well. Scurries through as the ball was spilled by Kai Smith, the keeper. And they scurry through for another single. Well, Glamorgan going very nicely here. 36 without loss after 3. And this is exactly the start that they wanted and exactly the start they need to challenge this quite challenging total of 185 to win.
Yeah, they've got to get ahead early, and then they can have that sort of comfortable mid-range when they can keep ticking along and try and keep the pressure off. But it looks like we're going to have a bowling change, and Dan Mousley is going to provide a little bit of spin. Now we know how quick that quicker ball can be for Dan Mousley, but just by looking at how Glamorgan went about their bowling innings, they tried to take a lot of pace off. They used a lot of spin, even an over of Asa Tribe as well. Kellaway and Mason Crane combining pretty well in the end, and I think Dan Mousley is going to have a big role to play with the spin.
Well, it seems like a reasonable option. Take the pace off. Big appeal again. Smale going to have to get back. Look to sweep straight away. There is a vacant area there if you can just get it past the fielder saving one at square leg. There's a big area of open space for boundaries, and that's what he was trying to target as Mousley comes round the wicket. Bowling quite flat here.
I must say that last LBW shout did look mightily close, but you just can't get LBW from right arm round the wicket.
It's got to be so full, hasn't it? And it's pretty much got to hit you on the boot, you think, almost without bouncing to have a chance. Well, the tactic is clear, to get it full from that angle to try and restrict the room for either batter to swing their arms here. So, hoping to wrestle back a little bit control. It did feel like it was control had evaporated for Warwickshire in the previous over. This is good stuff from Mousley. Canny cricketer.
Yeah, this feels like a brave, bold play here from Warwickshire to go to the spin early doors, but I think it's absolutely the right one. They've got a great start here, Glamorgan.
Oh, and that is the loose ball. Commentator's curse. And a full toss has been dispatched for 6 over backward square leg. It deserved to go, to be fair.
You see, bringing Mousley on was a good decision. But when you bowl a full toss, I think it's no longer a good decision. And Dan Mousley is showing a lot of promise at the start of that over, wasn't he? Bowling quick into the surface, hard to get away. But he's lobbed a nice full toss up to Will Smale, who hasn't faced too many deliveries that are easy to put away, but he's tucked into that one. 44 for none.
Yeah, it was a gift, really. Mousley kind of shuffling around, looking a bit disappointed with himself after that one. And Smale, well, it was a gift for him. Mousley had bowled some really tight stuff, just restricting the batters for room, firing it into that leg stump area. And that one, well, it was a full toss, bowled slightly slower, and really, he just helped it around the corner, as you can see here. There it is. Yeah, cleared the boundary quite easily in the end.
I think they'll be looking to keep piling on the pressure here, this opening pair in the power play. It'll be quite easy now. You've got ahead of the rate and just to sort of almost switch off and play calmly through the remaining overs. But I think this power play, they've got to take advantage of it. They've got the momentum. They've got to keep ploughing through, and they need to make sure that actually when they end the power play, they're still in this brilliant position. And then they can, when the field spreads, they can start to play a little bit more cautiously and just hit the deep fielders and take singles. So
Fuller again, and I think they thought they'd lost that ball, the last one. There was a little bit of a pause where they had to go and fetch it. I think the ball hit a step and bounced over the fence and was bouncing around somewhere on the outskirts of the ground. They found it again, and well, another quite expensive over there. Such a shame. Mousley bowled with good control, and then the one loose delivery gave Glamorgan a release, and this pair going very, very nicely at the moment. Kieran Carlson on 29 from 14 balls has already hit 2 6s and 3 4s, and Smale too, when he's had a bad ball to put away, has done that pretty successfully. So a good start here. 44 from 4, even I can do the maths there on what the run rate is. 11 and over, and yeah, I had to get all my shoes and socks off to do it, but we did it. Carlson drives. Oh, I thought that was in the air for a while. In the end, he's just threaded it through the gap. And it's another boundary.
Well, we've already seen one worldie of a catch from Will Smale. We saw a great catch as well from Sean Dixon. And I thought for a minute we were going to see the blinder of blinders, but he just didn't end up diving for, I think it was Zen Malik in there at cover. And it's raced past him. A good shot in the end from Kieran Carlson. Another boundary to add to his collection.
Yeah, Gleeson coming in from the other end. He swapped ends to see if he has a bit more luck this end. But again, putting some pressure on him, the Glamorgan batters, hitting his first ball. Oh, wow! He's ducked and played a kind of reverse scoop-style sweep, almost kneeling on the floor, turned it into a bouncer and hooked it off his knees. Again, outrageous stroke-making from Kieran Carlson.
Glimmers of Dilshan. Glimmers of him. He hasn't even been watching the ball as it's riding up on his left shoulder, and just with a flick of the wrist, it's been taken over Usman Tariq, who sort of just stands there and watches it go over his head. Another brilliant shot from Kieran Carlson, and it feels like we haven't seen the end of it yet.
Well, he's good fun, isn't he, Carlson? This is proper entertainment. Oh, wow, and there's another one. That is 6, this time over the offside. It looks like it might be Kieran Carlson's night. He's in the mood, and that is another spectacular boundary from the Glamorgan captain.
I couldn't name you a part of this ground where this guy can't hit a 6. This time, he's backed away, opened up his stance, and hit it over point for a 6. That is not a short hit. Yes, the pitch is slightly to that side of the ground, but it's still a massive strike right into the grandstand. I think it's just hit the base of one of the daffodils there. Brilliant shot.
Well, he has days like this, and when he's in this mood, is when you start kind of reaching for the record books and just want to check how fast the quickest 50 is. I don't think he's quite in range at the moment. And that looks like it might be another boundary. No, it isn't. Didn't get hold of it. Again, got used to seeing it flying to the boundary. And that one in the end, I think he's clothed it a little bit, but takes a single. Yeah, I think it's. I think Chris Cook holds the record from memory, 17 balls for a 50, I think. But Carlson is not far behind on the all-time Glamorgan list for fastest 50s. He's definitely got the biggest 100. Was here to watch that one against Somerset a couple of seasons ago. I think 143 it was, in very rapid order. And he kind of looks like, well, if he hangs around for too long, you can imagine him getting another big one here. But we're pretty early on in this innings still. Oof, against Smale, that must have been close to the edge. He leant back and tried to ramp it, I think, maybe over the keeper's head or over short third. And yeah, that's what the shot he's practicing now. Gleeson, old campaigner, fiery fast bowler, will not have enjoyed some of the shots these batters are playing. Yeah, just slightly beaten for pace there. You can see what he was trying to do, but didn't make contact. And a welcome dot.
I think Warwickshire would just be praying for the end of this power play. I reckon they'll bring on Usman Tariq pretty shortly after.
Almost in the air, no, just dropped short of the fielder. And a single to finish. Another expensive over, 16. Gleeson has gone for 30 from 2 overs, so that's probably not what they were expecting from their main gun bowler right at the top. And as you say, one more over of the power play to go as Carlson takes a well-deserved drink from young Henry Hurl, who's doing the 12th man duties today. Brings him a change of gloves as well. And the old gloves were doing fine. I don't know why he's changing them.
Well, I always get worried when a batter who's incredibly in form goes for a change of gloves. You'd think maybe
that's the superstitious
wise.
cricketer in you, isn't it? The kind of the tradition of don't change anything which is going well. Don't change sheets. It's not sheets, seats. Don't change anything. Yeah.
Well, Dan Mousley's in now. And a sweep. It's gone catchable height. Oh no, it's bounced just in front of him. It's run away for 4. Yet another boundary to add to the Warwickshire misery. It's now 64 for none. And that's a good shot from Will Smale as he is showing the crowd that actually he should be being watched as well. Great shot hitting from Kieran Carlson, and Will Smale is in on the act. This time it's a sweep, just missed. They're going to scamper through to a quick one. Great piece of work from the keeper behind the stumps, and my word, that was close.
Yeah, it would have been tight, I think. Carlson is quick between the stumps. He delayed a little bit and then put the afterburners on. In the end, actually didn't run his bat in. Well, he didn't run his bat in at all. I think he felt he was there, but probably it would have been much tighter than he thought.
Yeah, brilliant work from Kai Smith.
Well, he would have kicked himself if he'd been in the air with both feet off the ground and been run out there.
Quick from Mousley, wide and full. And Carlson can't get a hold of it as Usman Tariq is into the game for the first time with a pick-up of the ball.
Well, I wonder here from a Warwickshire perspective whether the plan was for Mousley to have bowled 2 in the power play. And I wonder whether they'll need to reshuffle their plans a little bit.
Well, there's the full toss, and it's been put away again by Will Smale. Not the first time he's done that to Dan Mousley this game. And he moves to 22 in quick time with another 4. It's just been swept on its way. 71 for none.
Well, they're probably getting too many 4 balls here. Mousley has a good measure of control most of the time, but he'll be disappointed that he's just bowling, going for those full deliveries and not quite getting it right, bowling full tosses, which Will Smale has shown that he's pretty adept at just working around the corner, and as a result they've now, to give themselves a bit of cover, have dropped that man down onto the boundary there.
Huge appeal this time from Dan Mousley, but again, another sign of that right arm round being very tricky to take a LBW dismissal with. But yeah, I don't think it'll be long before we see the likes of Usman Tariq, but this game is getting away from Warwickshire at 71 for none. Glamorgan in great position. Another full toss from Dan Mousley, hit out towards deep mid wicket, and it's gone past him. A diving attempt is in vain, and it's bounced off the advertisement boards and back into play. 4 more off the bowling of Dan Mousley, who I think is just dreaming for the end of the power play.
Well, I got my stats all wrong about fastest 50s. I've just checked the records provided by Dr. Andrew Hignall, the statistician here at Glamorgan. I'll tell you about those in a minute.
Another sweep shot hit on the back thigh, and Dan Mousley, for the 3rd appeal in a row, is not given. That ends the 8th, 75 for none. Let's hear those 50 records. Ash.
Well, yeah, Kieran Carlson at the moment is 45 from 19, so in theory could get there in 20 balls. Actually, he does hold the record for the fastest 50 off 15 balls against Middlesex in 2023. There's a certain Brendan McCullum second on the list from 2006. You may have heard of him. When Glamorgan used to play baseball, 18 balls, and James Franklin as well, Kiwi all-rounder, 18 balls as well. So, yeah, I think he could potentially go 4th on the list if he can hit his next ball for 6.
Well, he's got Usman Tariq to do it against. It feels like the Warwickshire Bears' trump card today. Been a bit of success for spin throughout the day, and Usman Tariq with the signature pause will be looking to dismiss Kieran Carlson as quick as possible. Here he comes in. And Carlson's hit on the pad. Is that an LBW appeal? It's been bowled off stump. The bail's been dislodged. And Usman Tariq takes the wicket first ball. Kieran Carlson, who was one shot off of 50, Usman Tariq is the man to dismiss him, and it could be a vital change in this game for Warwickshire.
What a fascinating delivery. It's a fascinating action, very different to almost anyone else in the game. That pause, that arm coming round almost on the perpendicular, and it looked a little bit like, as the ball came down, Kieran Carlson thought, I haven't seen anything like this, and almost went quite gently at it. He's been trying to smash everything else and just tried to work it gently and has just missed it. I don't even think the ball has done that much.
It looks as if this might be the one that just turns away from the batter, and Carlson's looking to work it against the turn on this delivery. It's had another little look. Yeah, it's out the front of the hand. Oh no, it's just gone through. It's gone through the gate and taken the off bail. Usman Tariq, he's done his job to absolute perfection, this man.
Well, what a start for him. Such a fascinating bowler. Nominally an off spinner, but I think most of what he bowls is the carom ball. Then there's a googly, bowling off different fingers, changing his wrist positions. A real mix of different types of delivery. Very hard to pick. And of course, it just looks different because I think he's another one of these bowlers, a bit like Muralitharan was, who can't extend his arm. He's been called for throwing lots of times and has been checked and always passed so it just looks very different. And I think that's probably off-putting to a batter. And now it's Ben Kellaway. Again, I wonder whether he's ever seen anything like this. Let's see how he gets on. One slip in place now.
Tariq hits the pad this time, and it's not been given. What a change of bowling this has been. It shows that even though Glamorgan are incredibly ahead of the game, actually all it takes is one bowler to come on and cause a bit of trouble. He's been struck on the pad there. That is mightily close. Maybe it might be a little bit of height or drifting down leg, but Usman Tariq has just completely changed the feel of this match. And it's been bowled round his legs! This is an incredible turn in the tides for Warwickshire. Usman Tariq comes on. He's taken 2 in 3. Ben Kellaway goes for a 2-ball duck. And at 75 for 2, Usman Tariq is the man of the hour.
What a bowling change. Double strike from the Pakistan international. And again, that really has silenced the crowd here at Sapphire Gardens. And it's fascinating. Glamorgan have been attacking everything up to this point. They seem like they're going for all the shots. And suddenly, the way they've played very tentative defensive shots. Well, that was it was like a little nerd, a little paddle around the corner. Slightly half-hearted, slightly not sure what they're doing. Very interesting. I just think they maybe haven't seen much of him. I'm not quite sure what the ball's going to do when it lands. There seems to be a little bit of confusion. So what a bowling change and what a time to come in. It's Asa Tribe, one of Glamorgan's gun batters, young player, an England Lion, one of the players who was talked about to get into the England Test team this year. And after an exceptional start by the opening pair, suddenly he's come in with Glamorgan having, well, you'd call it quite a big wobble. 2 wickets and 3 balls, and the momentum swing in quite a big way back to Warwickshire. What a time to come in. Tribe will just need to steady the ship, you'd think.
It felt like Warwickshire were just waiting to bring on Usman Tariq. It felt like they were just clawing their way to the end of the power play. Here he comes for his 4th ball of the over, and a sweep shot from Asa Tribe just beats the fielder. And a single to end the madness here at Sapphire Gardens. What an incredible 3 balls. And I'll tell you what's interesting here, Ash, also losing 2 wickets in 3 balls, was the Glamorgan opening pair. Malik and Yates earlier in this game were dismissed within 3 balls. So potentially a very similar trajectory, but Glamorgan are 50 runs ahead from where Warwickshire were when they lost those 2 wickets.
Well, Warwickshire attacking now with their field placing, slip and short cover in.
It's run off the open face by Will Smale, who all of a sudden is the set man at the crease. Not long ago, Kieran Carlson was obliterating the ball to all parts.
Well, it just feels after the start they've had, maybe they just need to have a quick look at Tariq. They're probably ahead of the game in terms of run rate at the moment. But just have a look at him, because at the moment it just seems he's brought confusion all of a sudden. Where there seemed to be solid plans and certainty and they knew what they were doing, all of a sudden he seemed to have scrambled the brains a little bit, and Glamorgan just need to rebuild a little bit here.
Down the track, comes Will Smale, which feels like a dangerous decision. Every ball feels like something could happen with the arm of Usman Tariq. He's changed this game, and I think Glamorgan have just got to remember. They've just got to remember they're ahead of the rate. Yes, they've had a pour over, lost 2 wickets. I think just 1 run coming off it. Yeah, Usman Tariq, look at those figures. 1 over, 2 for 1. But Glamorgan have got to remember they're ahead of the game, they're ahead of the rate, and they've just got to do exactly what Warwickshire did. Sam Hain and Bo Webster came in, and they steadied the ship, didn't they? They didn't go all out, all guns blazing, and these two have got to do the same thing.
Well, that's the value of your mystery spinner, yeah, and it's certainly put a different complexion on this Glamorgan chase. It was going all their own way, and all of a sudden now, there's just a small rebuilding job that needs to be done. They're still in a good position, you'd say, 76 for 2 after 7. That's ahead of where Warwickshire was by some margin. But still, you'll feel they just want to have a couple of quiet overs, just to put the confidence back into the dugout. Hearts will be pumping a little bit faster there. What they don't want is a collapse. And I think it'll be down to these two now just to try and settle everyone down.
Here's our first sign of Jordan Thompson. He bowls a good length to start with, an ace of tribe. I think we'll be looking to play the Sam Hain role. Coming in at number 4, an ace of tribe, that player of class. And at times of positivity, but also just to understand the game situation. He'll be looking just to keep the scoreboard ticking over, but more importantly, not cause panic amongst the dugout, as you mentioned there. There'll be a few players scrambling to get some kit on at the minute, that's for sure. As Thompson runs in again. And a nice drive there from Will Smale, straight down towards us. That's a nice little lofted drive. It's going to be a chase. Oh, it's just gone for 4. I think it might have hit the fielder in the face there as it rebounded off the rope.
It's the skipper, Ed Barnard, there, is sliding quite nastily into the advertising hoarding as well. Looks like he managed to bounce off it successfully, and he's back up on his feet, thankfully. Well, that's maybe a little bit of respite. He didn't really go fully through with the shot, more a check drive from Smale, but just had enough on it to beat the Warwickshire skipper to the rope, and a little bit of light relief here.
And so Jordan Thompson will be looking for a reply. 5 off the first 2 balls. And this time it's hit beautifully into the leg side. Just a flick of the wrist and it's gone 15 rows back, deep into the grandstand. And Will Smale, who hasn't had the tournament he would have hoped for, but now he looks $1 million. He's 36 off 21.
Well, maybe they're thinking, well, it's going to be tough from the guy at the other end, so we've maybe got to go for Thompson at this end. That was there to hit. It was full on leg stump. And I think what I like about that Will Smale, despite this being a sticky patch for Glamorgan, he went for it. He went for the shot. He had the confidence to go for it, didn't hold back and hit it so well.
Thompson's in, full down the leg side. I imagine that's going to be called a wide. It is. And that'll help Glamorgan just keep it ticking over once more, even though they've just come off the back of a 6. Jordan Thompson will be hoping for a quiet end to this over.
Yeah, Smell going nicely now. He's on to 36 off 21. And you'll think he's probably the one who might, who's got himself in and might continue to attack. Or Tribe maybe will consolidate a little bit.
Good change of pace there from Thompson, and a good diving stop from Usman Tariq.
Took him a while to get down.
God, doesn't look the most nimble,
down
does he?
in instalments.
Yeah, it looked like a slow motion camera there from Usman Tariq. I mean, I'm sure Warwickshire Bears won't be complaining. He's just taken 2 wickets for 1 run in the last over, so I think they just kind of hide him down there at short third man. But he's done very well.
He has. He stopped it. That's the main thing.
Had to put his sunglasses back on. Chain jangling about as Thompson is in again. Again, another slower ball, and Ace of Tribe can't get a hold of it. So that seems to be the way forward for Thompson. Take the pace off.
Well, so far this over's been pretty good. I think after a very difficult over last up, the fact they've taken 13 already from this one will hopefully have just settled nerves a little bit, but they want to see it out and finish well, and also come up with some plans for Usman Tariq next over as well.
Nice drive there from Ace of Tribe, beats a diving extra cover fielder, and that's going to be timed to perfection. Jumps over the rope, and the fielder out of deep cover doesn't have a chance to reach it. And that is another brilliant over for Glamorgan. And we mentioned earlier, didn't we, about how well Warwickshire responded to wickets with the bat. And this time Glamorgan are doing the same thing. Asa Tribe has come in and he's looked brilliant straight from the start, and Will Smale isn't holding up either.
Well, he just leant on that one. That was a classy shot, wasn't it? Didn't try to hit it too hard and just caressed it through the offside. And they've taken 17 off that over, which kind of makes up really for the one for the previous over. They're actually taking 18 off 2 overs, 9 and over. The average is pretty decent. So they'll feel they've come through that really, really well. But now they have got to work out how to play Usman Tariq. They've been all at sea so far. And he is attacking. If he can get another couple, well, that really will put the cat amongst the pigeons.
Drawing a defensive there from Will Smale. And now this is when bowling in partnerships becomes so important, because Usman Tariq could bowl the spell of his life, but if pressure's not building up from the other end, all of a sudden it makes it a little bit easier just to play Usman Tariq with more caution. As he runs in once more. And a nice sweep shot there from Will Smale, turns it round the corner. Just be a single as it's picked up by Bo Webster, the informed Warwickshire batter.
Well, that's my sense really here, that the Glamorgan batters against Tariq can't go passive. I think they've still got to be active and play with intent, even if it's intent just to play a good shot for a single. That's better than just trying to go soft hands and be vague and indefinite about what they do. I think positive intent seems to me probably the best way here.
As Tribe goes back, hits it into that deep corner of the ground, and they take one. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You almost don't want Tariq to be in a position where he can just bowl at you. And these Glamorgan batters, as you say brilliantly there, Ash, they'll be looking to stay positive and keep Tariq thinking, keep Ed Barnard thinking. They don't want this to be too easy for the overseas. This one's short outside the off stump, and Smale can take a single. And Glamorgan won't mind this at all. Straight off the back of a hugely successful over. And now they're nurdling the dangerous Usman Tariq around for singles. As he's past the stumps again. And a sluggish sweep. Doesn't go above sort of chest height. It's picked out in the deep. And Glamorgan move to 97 for 2. They're 7 balls away from the halfway mark. And they're well ahead of the rate.
Yeah, if you look at the DLS, it's 73. That's normally a good guide, and Glamorgan are on 97. So well ahead of the game so far, but another couple of wickets could change that. So they'll be keen for this pair to hang around. And they've negotiated that over better. 5 singles from it, but still Tariq asking questions, not offering anything loose. And I think they may be thinking, well, we're getting enough runs from the other end. Let's just try and manage the level of risk we're prepared to engage against Tariq. See him off. He's only got 2 more overs to go. And let's see if we can tuck into everyone else, I think.
Here's a question now. Do you, I feel like you have to, you're the Warwickshire skipper, are you bowling Usman Tariq out 4 in a row?
My feeling is I probably would. One, he's into it. And I think is now when he could probably do most damage. You think if he got this pair out, and could maybe get 1 or 2, or Sean Dixon comes in and you get him out, then you do really feel that Warwickshire would have a terrific chance.
Webster's onto the bowling, and a ramp first ball is missed. It's a good piece of work behind the stumps by Kai Smith. I mean, it just means it's just a dot. Yes, I think if Glamorgan were maybe 10, 20 runs worse off, actually there's an incentive to hold off Usman Tariq, because that's gone very close to the bat there.
Yeah, premeditated shot from Will Smale. You haven't got time when the ball's coming down at that speed to see it and then decide to do it. Couldn't make contact that time, but again, straight away, just trying to put Webster off his length.
Smale again. This time, just a change of pace from Webster, and Smale can't quite get a hold of it. He's on 40. He's looked very good today. Not quite as fluid as I reckon he could be, but he has been really good at putting away the bad balls today.
Well, it feels like an important knock for Will Smale now. Often he's batting there with Carlson, who's going great guns, and he plays second fiddle. But now it does feel like quite a lot of responsibility is sitting on his shoulders here. And if he can deliver today, well, you'd think he's going to likely to be in the side for a little while longer.
Full toss from Webster, also a no ball. Is it going to go for 6? It's a one bounce. Oh no, it's a brilliant piece of fielding.
That's a brilliant
from
stop.
Rob Yates. I mean, it's bounced, maybe a foot in front of him, and it's a full strength, one-handed dive. I don't think ground fielding gets much better than that.
Superb. Ran very, very hard, and I think what he decided to just realise he probably wasn't getting there for the catch, but then makes an absolutely brilliant attempt and kind of gets it on the half volley with one hand stretched out on the slide. And you never know in a game like this, if it goes down to the last ball, stops like that could win you the game. So absolutely brilliant from Smith.
A sweep shot here is not connected. Will Smell jumping a metre across his stumps there, as Seagulls are just invading the pitch right now. Well, I can count about, 30.
There's a few chips probably being dropped, I think. I think you had a bit of you had a burger earlier on as well, didn't you? Sort of, were feeling quite full.
You
as
had
you
to bring it up, didn't you?
So
yes, I've had a burger.
They're probably eating your leftover chips because you're too full from the burger that you left on a seat somewhere.
So Webster's in again, and that's thumped down the ground. Brilliant shot. It's racing away to the boundary. And we can talk about burgers all day, but I tell you, that 4 is beautiful. 105 for 2.
Yeah, great shot. Very good shot. Straight drive. Ball was pitched up. It was in the slot, and he megged him. He megged the bowler straight between his legs. And another welcome boundary, which just helps again, settles everyone down, settles the nerves. Just means that they're going to get it. Well, they've got 7 from the first 4 balls here. And good batting from Will Smell. He's on 46 now.
Webster's in. This one's down the ground. A chance is possible. And then it's just landed in front with Rob Yates out there, who was fresh off the back of some brilliant fielding. And for a minute, you thought he was in the game.
Well, I think it's a good job he did miss-hit that one, because I think if he got anything like a decent contact, it probably would have been straight down Smith's throat. And we've seen, what he looks like as an absolute gun fielder in that key position there. So, bit of a let-off from Smale. Almost seemed to just sort of go half-hearted on it.
Final ball of the first 10. Wide outside the off-stump. Wide given. Blimey, that looked really close, actually. I thought Bo Webster just got away with that for a minute.
Asa Tribe gave him a little bit of a stare, I think. If you look at this, he kind of looked straight up and gave the umpire a look and said, what? You're going to let that go? And I think probably just helped to persuade him just in the last minute that he maybe should extend those arms. Oh, yeah, that definitely
that's wide, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I tell you, Bo...
Yeah, I think he pretty much asked for it. He said, hang on, that must be a wide.
This time a single out into the cover region. And I tell you, Webster looked pretty infuriated with that last wide he bowled. And he's now pounding his way off towards the boundary. And that ends the first 10 then. 108 for 2. It's been a really eventful start to this innings. And it's fair to say what Glamorgan have done so well is they got ahead early. They lost those 2 wickets, but that hasn't affected them. They got ahead early and they've stayed ahead. Look at that worm.
Yeah, they have. Well, the like-for-like comparison at this stage after 10 overs, Warwickshire were 82 for 2, Glamorgan now 108 for 2, and as you can see there, the black line at the top there, well ahead of things, and there's the Manhattan which shows us the runs from the over, and there's some big, tall skyscrapers in the black there from Glamorgan, reaching up into the sort of 16th, 17s and over, and that's really meant that despite losing those wickets, they've managed to keep the pressure pouring on as Barnard, the captain, comes on for his first over. Ball chipped into the leg side. They think about 2, but just decide to keep it at 1. And so, well, do Warwickshire just need to roll the dice here? You'd think 76 from 59 in modern T20 terms, that feels comfortable, doesn't it?
It does, but it's interesting. The captain has taken off Usman Tariq and he's put on himself.
Yeah, we did talk about that. Well, he disregarded my advice, as he should. I mean, Ed Barnard knows a lot more about cricket than I do, and that's what he's decided to do. We'll see who's right, but he's taken the responsibility himself, I guess as all good captains do, to see if he can produce something that just will slow this Glamorgan chase down.
How crucial will Tariq be if they can get another couple of wickets here?
Tribe goes straight. He's hit it well. I think it's just going to be cut off with a dive. It is. Good piece of fielding down there. And skim back in. So it keeps them to... did he get back? He got back for a second.
I think the idea is, if Ed Barnard can pick up a wicket, if they can bring a new batter to the crease, if they can build up a little bit of pressure and bring in that scoreball pressure, Usman Tariq will be terrifying in the later overs.
Yeah, get him straight back on at that point. Well, Tribe again just goes straight down there. There's a comfortable single, and takes another one. So just keeping the scoreboard ticking over here. 8 wickets in hand, so they're in a good position here. As Warwickshire were, they've got a platform to keep going here, but Glamorgan will be pretty happy the way things are looking. Smale works that one into the leg side, moves on to 49, just one away from a half century. And again, just signalling there for a new pair of gloves, I think.
Well, we know what happened when Kieran Carson got his new set of gloves, eh?
This is true. This is true. Should have stuck with the old ones. I think we said that at the time. Try. Just drives. Sort of pushes it down to mid-off for another single. On come the gloves we talked about. Will Smale just swaps them over. Takes the chance to have a rub down with a towel. And there he is. Was played really well on 49 from 34. And, well, he's the set batter, the guy who's been there from the start. And with his striking ability, you think if he can stay around for another 5 or 6 overs and employ some of the power that we've seen, then Glamorgan will be pretty close to the total they need to win this match. Of course, a chance to go second in the table tonight to get into one of those automatic qualification places for the quarterfinals with 4 matches to go. But if Warwickshire can win, well, they're right back in the hunt. They go level with Glamorgan on points and become one of the chasing pack, really fighting for that second place in the division. So, yeah, big match. And Warwickshire have gone to a big player.
They have. Here comes Wokes. We've seen a couple of jaffers from him. Can he continue? It's a brilliant diving stop there at short third man. I believe it's Richard Gleeson. It is. Great diving stop from a man who has plenty of experience. Shows how much this competition means to him. And you're absolutely right. We were saying at the break, weren't we? It's the equivalent of the football 6-pointer. It's almost the 8-pointer here in the Blast, with 4 points for a win. And with these two teams tussling for that automatic qualification spot, makes this game all the more important.
So worked into the leg side by Smell, and that's 50. Oh, he thinks, or is it? Oh, gosh. Well, that would have been calamity. He's got there, got his 50, the crowd were clapping, and for just a moment he thought he might go back for a second, changed his mind, and, well, raises his bat, gets a good round of applause here from this Sapphire Gardens crowd. They know they've been richly entertained by this innings, but the job is not done. And I think Smell, that's what he'll be thinking. Okay, I've done the first part of it. Can I finish the job?
Yeah, it feels like he's got to be there at the end, just to make this all the more comfortable for Glamorgan. If he can see it out, they'll win this game.
So Asa Tribe has now faced 12 balls, 13 balls, just ticking along just over a run a ball, biding his time. But certainly they feel like they've got over that psychological hump of losing 2 wickets in quick succession just in the 7th over. With Tariq, that terrific first over that just seemed to send shivers down the spines of the Glamorgan batters. Feels a bit more comfortable now. And Smale, well, that's an absolute beauty. That is an incredible shot. Slog sweep off Chris Wokes for 6. Over fine leg. Well, proper 360 player, and that again just puts the pressure right back on Warwickshire.
We've seen a lot of that shot today, haven't we? From both sides, all the batters have quite often been looking to use the pace. It shows the pace in this deck, shows the quality of this cricket pitch, that the players are able to use the pace, get low, and ramp it up over those short fielders that are inside the ring behind square.
So Wokes, how can he respond? Goes full. Oh, and that must have been close to the edge and close to the off stump. So just bowling in the channel there. And, well, was very, very close to getting rid of Smale. Yeah, just looked to sort of hoik that through the mid-wicket region. It's very interesting, the balls he's attacking, Smale. He's attacking balls, hitting behind square on the leg side. That kind of 5th, 6th stump, good length ball. So it really kind of the old rules of cricket definitely being abandoned in this chase here. Attacking anything, really. in unexpected places as Ismail takes another single. And that's a decent over 10 from it. That's 6 really important, again, just to keep the momentum of this innings. 60 runs to win from 48 balls. Ismail now on 57. And, Glamorgan are well set. And no surprise then that they've just thrown the ball to the danger man.
Yep, it feels the time, doesn't it, Warwickshire? It's almost like a last gasp attempt. Glamorgan look in a brilliant position in both columns. They're ahead of the rate in runs, and they've only lost the 2 wickets. They got set batters at the crease. Ismail looks in great form, but this is the man that could disrupt it. He disrupted a good opening partnership of 75, then took the wicket and cut away 2 balls later. Here he continues.
The pause, very flat delivery, that one. That one would have come to the batter, almost coming in front of the umpire's chest. The arm is so perpendicular. It's kind of like Malinga used to bowl, remember the Sri Lankan quickie, used to bowl fast with that sort of unusual angle, and Tariq does that, but varies the angle of his arm as well. So just adding that extra element of variation that's hard to pick.
Goes back to a very full ball hit, Will Ismail. He's done that a couple of times to Usman Tariq, and both have ended in a throwing up in the arms and a gasp from the Pakistani bowler.
Big appeal. That one again looks close. Oh, and they've got away. There have been lots of close ones and a despairing, almost pleading look. You can see Tariq cannot believe that has not been given. Looking back and think, what do I need to do to get a wicket here? Another wicket.
Oh, it's impact outside off, isn't it?
It's outside off, and I think might even have been missing off. So, yeah, good decision by the umpire. Quicker delivery. Clip by Tribe. Just happy to take the single.
I'm thinking that surely Usman Tariq is lovely to umpire to, because it almost, the ball comes out of the middle of your chest.
Yep. Yep.
And you can watch it sort of just go straight towards the stumps.
It is. It just looks very unusual to how anyone else bowls in the world. Oh, coming for a single. Oh, that would have been close. It was Asa Tribe's call. He went to the danger and he set off very, very quickly. And in the end, decided to go. The throw went up to the bowler's end. It was Chris Wokes, actually, who had the throw. Direct hit would have been very, very close, but as is, he misses. And Glamorgan batter survive. So there's some booing going on here. I think this is probably something that Usman Tariq has had to put up with. I don't know what it's for. I'm looking around.
I wonder if there was a bit of crowd fun going on.
I'm
not really sure what it was, but they're clearly maybe not too happy with Usman Tariq, but he doesn't look too happy either.
Well, he's a controversial bowler, and that's because he has been accused in the past, and even this year by Cameron Green, the Australian batsman, playing in sort of accused him or gestured to say that he was throwing it. He is a player who has been called for throwing a few times, but they checked, and a bit like Muralitharan, as we said earlier, he apparently cannot medically extend his arm, and so he bowls with a slightly bent arm, which for him is as straight as he can get it. And that's why sometimes it looks different, and people have sometimes accused him of throwing. But he's been cleared by everyone who counts, by all the authorities. And I don't know whether that's what it's about. It's difficult for us to find out here, but certainly there was a bit of booing going round.
I think it's fine. I think bowlers like that are brilliant for the game.
Oh, yeah.
And actually you want to come here and watch a brilliant overseas, almost a wizard with the ball, get to work, and look how much he changed the game. Look how much tension he brought into this chase for Glamorgan. They were sailing to victory at one point. 75 for none off the power play, and Usman Tariq struck with his first ball and with his third.
Well, yeah, variety is the spice of life, and he bowls with incredible variety. Strong hit down the ground. It's just going to be one for Ismail. Yeah, no, I agree. He's the mystery spinner. Well, they just bring so much to the game, don't they? So much difference and variation, and really he bowls with such subtle variations, almost in all sorts of different ways. The angle of his arm, the way he grips the ball, the position of his wrist, and even that little pause before he bowls is just so unusual that I think he's Fascinating bowler. And very effective. Oof, gosh, that's hit back. And I think that just got a hand to it, Thompson, or it may have even glanced his leg. Got a bit of a limp there. Just checking he's okay. I think he's fine. Walking back to his mark.
Well, I'm just looking at some of the bowling figures here. And what Glamorgan have done so well is their boundary hitting just hasn't stopped. I mean, at the end of the 12th, sorry, at the end of the 11th, they had 18 boundaries. And Warwickshire had 23 in their entire 20 overs. And Tariq, who's bowled 3 overs, has had no boundaries off his bowling.
Smale again, working, try and get outside. Oh, and a mistake by the keeper. Well, good save by the fielder. Well, that was chased extremely hard down there. Just been hauled in. And, well, saves a little bit of embarrassment for Kai Smith. After letting that one sort of go between his legs. I think it was a tricky ball to take.
Yeah, not what Thompson wants after an expensive first over as well.
Well, yeah, some of them have taken a bit of hammer there, haven't they? Gleeson going for 15 and over. It's not what you would have expected. Tariq, the standout figure, 2 for 9 from 3. They seem to have played everyone else pretty comfortably. So you'd think he's got 1 over left, Tariq. Will it be the next over? Feels like it could be a key moment, depending on how it goes. Glamorgan at the moment, gently cantering, it feels, towards the victory target, but strange things can happen in cricket.
Yeah, and Glamorgan, now 14 balls without a boundary. So maybe, just inside the heads of the batters, pressure might be building.
Well, that's a good shot. That possibly could get there. Good piece of work on the boundary. Ran round Holden very quickly. And just keeps them to a single. So Asa Tribe now on to 22. Glamorgan 137 for 2 after 14 overs, 6 overs to go. 48 runs needed.
Now, a good over here builds up a lot of pressure for the batters. Glamorgan, they've been ahead of the game the entire innings. The whole time they've been ahead. But now, with Usman Tariq bowling his final over, he could just put Warwickshire in a position to make these last 5 overs a lot more challenging than previously anticipated. If he has another over that goes for 3, all of a sudden, off the last 5 overs, Glamorgan will need 45.
Yeah, big over this one. The pause. Slapped straight down. Just a single. Just trying to make out, really. Well, opening the window here, trying to work out what's going on. You may have a sense, really, of what maybe better than us watching at home here, listening to the effects mic about what's going on here. The crowd are boisterous now, enjoying themselves. Well, everything seems to have settled down, whatever that commotion was. As Glamorgan take another single, 139 for 2.
Who knows what's going on? Something's happening. And I guess that's good. Oh, now, the little bit of booing now that Usman Tariq has the ball back in hand. We're only speculating, but I don't think the fans are too happy with this man.
Attempted reverse sweep by Smale. Who knows? It could be that someone's just had one of those beer snakes where they're confiscating the crowd, and then maybe the booing's because of that. You can never quite tell at this stage of a match. But what we do know, we have a very good contest with a quality international bowler here.
It really does feel like they're booing the action, doesn't it?
It feels like...
And he wants it.
There's a little bell. He's saying, bring it on, Tariq, here. Come on, bring it on. I don't mind. Well, he thrives in the contest. Well, that does seem to be what's happening. The crowd are getting stuck into Usman Tariq, and he's saying, bring it on, I can take it.
This is brilliant. Fans love a villain, don't they? They're really not happy, are they, at all?
That's all I can think is just
it is.
They are...
It has to be.
It's the action. And the crowd who may be are not aware of the history of this thing are seeing what they're seeing and are sort of calling into question his action. Well, the authorities have made the decisions on that. I don't think we need to go there again.
It's quite incredible. I've never seen this ever in a cricket ground, where a bowler is being booed for the way he's bowling.
Well, yeah, extraordinary scenes.
It almost looks as if at the end of the 15th, 142 for 2, it looked like for a moment Will Smale just consoled his opponent there, Usman Tariq, who's getting a lot of high fives from his teammates. He definitely is the focus of attention, but let's be real, you cannot take away from a magnificent bowling spell from Usman Tariq. 4 overs, 2 for 13, and it has really changed this game completely, and it's now 43 runs to win off the last 5 overs.
Well, sometimes crowds get stuck into opponents who they respect, who know are doing damage to their team, and I think that's probably exactly what's happened there. He's been the one bowler who has had proper control. He's looked dangerous. The batters have looked cautious against him, and he's really, you'd have to say, the one bowler who's kept Warwickshire in this, who's given them a glimmer of hope by the way he's bowled. He's
been absolutely superb. Take a look at those figures. 3.25 per over. And amongst, well, an innings that hasn't been easy for the bowlers at all. Ed Barnard, the only other man to bowl at under 10 runs and over. And we're about to see Richard Gleeson, who's received a fair amount of taps so far this innings. And he's bowled first ball though, Richard Gleeson with a big celebration. And that's a big wicket. Will Smale now falling for 62. And with 43 needed of 29 balls, Glamorgan going from a position completely in control. They're now in trouble. They've lost their big man.
Well, maybe it's not done yet. We did say things happen in sport. That's why we love it. Nothing's certain. And Gleeson has just put some doubt into the minds here of this Glamorgan side, and certainly into the crowd, as Will Smale heads off for a very, very well batted 62 from 50 balls. Well, it was an inside edge, went to smoke it over mid-wicket, just got an inside edge and it's crashed into the stumps. And, well, Warwickshire, they're fighting hard. They haven't given up on this game. And that now brings Sean Dixon. Well, he has been Glamorgan's best white ball batter. The way he has been clearing the ropes in games this season with ease has been something to behold, and has been a superb finisher of matches.
He has been.
And looks like he's been put in the position again with just under 5 overs to go. It seems potentially tailor-made for him. It was this pair who pretty much won the game against Middlesex the other night, got them right to the brink, and it was Dixon who hit the winning runs with a brilliant 50, and Glamorgan will be hoping for more of the same.
Yeah, this feels like his role, doesn't it? But Richard Gleeson is in and clips off the hips there from Sean Dixon, and a single just seems to calm the surroundings that little bit more. But a massive wicket in terms of the game situation.
Yeah, well, meanwhile, Ace of Tribe still just ticking along, doing his business in a slightly unassuming way. 24 from 20, but highly effective. And the fact is he's still there and got his eye in. And again, I don't think will want to give his wicket up either, and want to see Glamorgan over the line if he can. 1-4-3 for 3.
Down the leg side, and wide has been given by the umpire, despite Tribe just slightly moving across his stumps. That's the right call. And we did say, didn't we? You mentioned actually, Ash, that Will Smale knew with that 50 celebration, he knew his job wasn't done, and he made a brilliant 62. But I wonder if Glamorgan don't get on the right side of this fixture. We did say that he probably, if he was there at the end, this would have been a straightforward win for Glamorgan. But the pressure's building now, and Richard Gleeson, halfway through his over. Oh no, he's bowled 2 because of that wide. With the wicket though, he's bowling well. Beating him a pace that time, Ace of Tribe, who looks up to the sky. And he's on just over a run a ball for his 24. And Glamorgan feel like they need a boundary.
Well, he is sharp, Gleeson, and showing that he can still get the ball through, thudding into the wicket-keeper's gloves. And that does. Well, pace is always effective in sport, isn't it? Whatever sport you're playing, but in cricket in particular. Gleeson can still get the ball down at a good pace. Experienced campaigner, and they need all that experience now.
Ace of Tribe clubs this one out towards mid-wicket, where a calm Dan Mousley picks up and returns. Now, I've just done a bit more maths, and that is now, I believe, 24 balls without a boundary for Glamorgan. And they were cruising at one point. 125 they were at the end of the 12th. And it feels like the wheels are beginning to come off in this chase.
Well, the run rate, if you look at it, I mean, 40 from 26. Yeah, that rate is climbing. And you think it will take some boundaries to get it back. The one thing they do have in their favour is they've seen off Usman Tariq. So he can't bowl another one. And he's the one who really had slowed things down. What Glamorgan now need to think is, where can they find these boundaries? With Dixon, they've definitely got a very clean boundary hitter there. And Tribe as well will be confident of finding the boundary as well. So this game finally balanced.
It certainly is. And I think we both up here had a little moment to think when Richard Gleeson, who was going at 15 runs and over, was brought on. But he's had a terrific over. And this is a good Yorker, which is well dug out, and Tribe gets a single down the ground to end the over. Yet another boundaryless over for Glamorgan. It just feels like a boundary would change everything right now. They just need to get back on track.
Well, it just has the makings, doesn't it, at the moment, of going down to the last ball. Glamorgan have done that in 4 of their matches so far this season. They have played some absolute classics where they've won a couple of games where they had absolutely no right to be there as they took it down to the last ball. And, well, it wouldn't surprise me if this game goes very, very deep. For it not to happen, you think these two need to have a big over against someone. Can they take 16 or 17 from an over somewhere? Well, it won't be that man, because he's finished. Usman Tariq, he's going to go in, field in a position that's not too close to the boundary. Is he on his way off? I wonder whether he's just been subbed off as a sub-fielder. Well, or is he staying on? No, it looks like he is going off. Replacement fielder coming on. Well, probably tactically, when we saw him go down for one at short third earlier, that may not be such a bad thing from a Warwickshire perspective.
Maybe it's a nimble substitution as Thompson starts with a full toss, and it's going to be the first boundary in plenty of time. Asa Tribe is the man to do it. He breaks the drought with a slashing drive through backward a point, and that feels like a big blow to Warwickshire.
Well, Thompson has been expensive, and maybe Glamorgan sense that this might be the over. Can they get a big over in here that just takes the pressure off as they get towards the death? And that was a pretty wild deliver, actually, a high full toss, and Tribe got that away well.
Backing away this time, Asa Tribe. They're going to get a single. I think that's going to be a bye through to Kai Smith. Yeah, it certainly is.
A shot along the floor there, kind of had forced to make a goalkeeper save. Kai Smith there just parried it to the fielder at short third, and they scurry through for a single. So 5 from the first 2 balls. Chance here for Glamorgan just to put a bit of pressure right back on Warwickshire now. Sean Dixon, if it's in the slot, you can be pretty confident he's going to go for it.
This is what the blast is all about. Thompson, slower ball, Yorker, driven out towards cover, good diving stop. Which means it's just another single. It feels like the Warwickshire fielding side just got to calm down here. Feels like there's a lot of tension on both sides. And Glamorgan love another boundary. That feel like it would just release again.
Tight match. Great contest. Thrilling entertainment.
Another slower ball. Plink down the ground. Tribe gets off strike again. He's played a good role in this innings, hasn't he? Came in at a tricky time. 75 for 2. Glamorgan had lost 2 really quick wickets when he arrived at the crease, and he's done brilliantly just to steady the ship.
Well, can Thompson get out of this over without conceding another boundary? That's a big question now. Who's going to blink first here? Is he going to crack and bowl a loose delivery, another full toss or something short that Dixon can get stuck into? Or can he bowl a couple of very tight deliveries?
He's short, and I think this could be 4 more. It's going to be a chase for Dan Mousley. Can he get there? He slides and brings it in comfortably in the end. But that was a ball that, for a minute, looked like it almost deserved to go to the fence there. Jordan Thompson, as you mentioned, needs to see out this over.
Well, he didn't hit that one too hard, Dixon, so he just got to work it round the corner, really, and hope to use the pace. But in the end, a good chase round there from Mousley. Got round there with a sliding stop and saved a couple of runs. Who knows how crucial that could be. 156 for 3. 29 to win off 19.
Big delivery, this one. Slower ball, well bowled in the end. They're just going to get a single in the ring. Now, 3 overs to go then. 28 to win. Just under 10 runs and over. Now, let's have a look. We've got 1 over left from Gleeson for Warwickshire. 1 over left from Chris Wokes. Thompson also has an over left, but has looked a little bit expensive at times. And then there's also, of course, Bo Webster and Ed Barnard, who still have the opportunity to bowl, and Dan Mosley as well. So we're going to see Chris Wokes here, which means that for the last 2 overs, Warwickshire are going to have to find it amongst their pace battery. But Chris Wokes, he's got a big job to do. And it always feels like sometimes these games can be decided in the penultimate over and the one just before it. That 28, if this is a good over here, is going to look a lot more menacing. With Glamorgan 157 for 3, Sean Dixon and Asa Tribe have got a lot of work to do.
Well, what a battle here. Probably the most experienced T20 bowler in the country, pretty much, Chris Wokes, against Dixon, one of the gun batters of this Glamorgan side.
He steps back, hits it out towards the corner of this ground, and Yates picks up. Single added.
Well, you think the Glamorgan batters are going to have to try and make something happen here. Wokes, with all his experience, may not give you a loose delivery. Can you manufacture something? Can you manufacture an unusual angle, a ramp or a sweep, or can you create some room and hit it through the offside? So there's the sort of questions that the Glamorgan batters have got to answer here.
I wonder if Warwickshire have just listened to you. They've just put out a deep backward point behind square, but they've brought up Bo Webster. Could extra cover be the play? It's a wide Yorker, brilliantly bowled. Asa Tribe looks disheartened, but he's going to have to accept it. Good experience from Chris Wokes. He's using it well.
Well, that's beautifully bowled. Oh, gosh. Ooh. Wow. Well, looking at that, I think they'll go back, and Asa Tribe feels extremely disappointed, and with some justification there. That ball definitely outside the blue line.
Yeah, it did look like Asa Tribe was slightly across his stumps, though, potentially.
He's stepping across, isn't he? I think in his trigger, he's definitely taken quite a big step to try and get his eyes almost outside off stump, and maybe that was the thing that just persuaded the umpire that he'd moved quite a long way.
Yeah, and back goes Bo Webster to the long off boundary, and backward point comes back up inside the circle. So deep cover in long off, and then the 3 out in front of square on the leg side. 26 off 15, a brilliant start to this over from Chris Wokes. A nice drive, square of the wicket, should be retrieved. It is, and will just be a single.
That's
two.
Very good fielding.
Blimey, this is going to be a big 2 balls here now.
Well, you think one of them's got to go. I'm just thinking now, how many would you be happy chasing off the last over here if you were Glamorgan? Yeah, what's your maximum figure that you wouldn't want to have to chase more than that?
I wouldn't want. I don't think I'd want more than 13. 14 feels doable, but 15 and over is almost would feel too much. But Wokes 3 off this first 4 balls, and I think that's going to just be another single. It is brilliant bowling from Chris Wokes. He hasn't missed a single delivery this over.
So 1 ball to go. We saw Glamorgan had a few of these overs where they'd just gone for singles and dots, and then the last ball got deposited over the boundary. And, Warwickshire praying for a single. They wouldn't mind that at all, or a dot, or even better, a wicket. Glamorgan needs something bigger.
Ramp attempted. He hasn't quite got hold of it, but I tell you, it's going to be 4 either way.
Well, fortune favours the brave there. He took a chance and has got lucky, and that is the boundary that just, you feel, keeps Glamorgan's hopes alive, gets them a little bit closer.
I mean, they were going through a huge boundary drought. I mean, they had won since the 11th over until that ball just then. And you're absolutely right. It just felt like Glamorgan needed to try something. It was either go big or go home. and he's got lucky. Fortune favours the brave, as they say, and it's now 20 needed off 12, and they're back to 10 runs and over. And it feels like Glamorgan may have just edged back to favourites in this game.
Well, Glamorgan fans, Warwickshire fans, how are you feeling? Nervous in the commentary box here. I wonder how you see things going now. 20 needed off 12 balls, and Glamorgan won't want to leave themselves too much to do in the last over. Can they get close? Can they get down to less than 10 in the final over here? And it's the pace of Gleeson. He's 1 for 35 from 3 so far. Can they somehow use that pace to get the ball to the boundary?
So Tribe will face up. Down the leg side, that's going to be 4. The perfect tickle from Asa Tribe. Just got the perfect fine edge on it to run it down to the boundary for 4. It's been picked up by Sam Hain, who played so well with the bat earlier on for Warwickshire. But now it's Glamorgan's time, and that is a pivotal boundary.
Big start to the over, big start. The boundary, that's what Glamorgan need. The pressure back on Gleeson now, back on Warwickshire. And all of a sudden, well, maybe they don't have to take a crazy risk. They've got the boundary first ball.
Back of a length, and Tribe gets it away for a single. He won't mind that. Boundary followed by a single. Keeps the scoreboard ticking. And 170 for 3. 15 off 10 now. Glamorgan are in the box seat.
Well, if anything's banged in short, slower ball, halfway down, I reckon Dixon will go for it, and he'll try to hit it straight over mid-wicket. He did a couple of those last week. In fact, the shot that he used to win the game against Middlesex, that's an area that he likes, and I think he'll be looking for that. So I wonder if Gleeson will think maybe full and straight might be the ball.
I think that's a great call. Full and straight it is, but it's been dispatched. It's gone over long off for 6. It's now single figures needed for Glamorgan. 9 off 9, and a brilliant shot. Maybe it was the ball that Gleeson intended, but Dixon has put it away anyway. A tremendous shot over the bowler's head, and it's see you later, Richard Gleeson.
Well, he's gone back in his crease there, and he's hit not a bad Yorker for 6, straight over mid-off. He's gone right back in his crease, used every single inch of space he had, and somehow got under it to lift it over the boundary for 6. What a shot!
Sure, this time pulled away. Is that 6 more? It is. It's gone all the way over the boundary. Sean Dixon reading Gleeson with ease. 1 full ball's gone for 6. He drops it short, and Dixon's ready to pounce, and he hits it well over the mid-wicket fielder for another boundary.
Well, that's his shot. Drop it halfway down against Sean Dixon, and you're taking a big risk. And he has smashed that straight over mid-wicket. A clean strike, and now has put Glamorgan within sniffing distance of a win to go into top 2 in this division.
Could it be this ball? Short again down the leg side. That is not the ball to bowl. Gleeson is furious.
Well, what a momentum swing. 2 6s, and Gleeson can't believe it. He's had a tough night. And just when they needed him, Sean Dixon, such a clean striker. Glamorgan brought him here particularly to really up their game in the white ball tournaments, and he's proving his worth now.
Dixon steps back, inside edge, is this going to be it? It's running down to the boundary. Is it going to win? It does! And it's a brilliant win for Glamorgan. And it's boundaries from Sean Dixon that gets them over the line. What a tremendous innings he's put in. Back-to-back games where he has been the man to take Glamorgan over the line. And what a way to do it. He handshakes Asa Tribe, who also had a magnificent knock of 38. And Will Smales, 62, was brilliant as well. But Glamorgan have just been the better side. They got ahead early and they stayed ahead. A tremendous win, and also a huge win in this chase for the top 2.
It's massive, and you can see what the crowd think of it. Party has started here at Sapphire Gardens tonight. The home crowd celebrating a dramatic and exciting win, and again it's Sean Dixon who proves that he is the main man when it comes to finishing the job. Some incredible hitting in that penultimate over. They didn't even need to go down to the final over in the end, and it's Dixon again, the man of the moment, the man who loves the pressure right at the end, who's delivered, walking off there with Asa Tribe, who again also played his part, 38 from 31. He was the guy who just kept things calm, who rotated the strike, didn't panic when things were looking difficult. And it's Dixon who came in to join him. A brilliant partnership to finish this match. And Glamorgan win by 7 wickets. And, that may have pushed them into a place where they'll feel pretty confident now of challenging for the quarterfinals. And for Warwickshire, well, they played well, but that may be it for them. They're going to have to play very, very well to sneak in maybe as a third-place side.
Yeah, it might be. They'll keep the hope, that's for sure, but I think nothing can be taken away from a brilliant chase down from Glamorgan. I mean, it to and fro, didn't it, the innings? They were so far ahead of the rate, 75 for none at the end of the power play. Glamorgan looked set. It looked like the game was done, but Usman Tariq, who was getting booed around the ground throughout his terrific spell, who, let's be honest, how good did he bowl today? Going at just over 3 runs and over, and he was the main reason, really, while Warwickshire was still in this game. But Will Smale, a brilliant 50, but when he was gone, it felt like it could have been another turn in this game. But a brilliant final wicket partnership there between Sean Dixon and Asa Tribe gets them over the line as the team shake hands. Still good spirits between the two sides. But what a brilliant game, almost a perfect T20 really. It had it all.
It did, and everything had a pantomime villain. It had incredible boundary hitting. It had sort of swings of fortune. It had everything, and a crowd who've really enjoyed themselves. And well, it's a feel-good place to be at the moment, Glamorgan is, and more smiles here tonight. Look at that, you can see how delighted the team are. There's Kieran Carlson, the captain there, just going around and congratulating. He congratulates Sean Dixon on yet another match-winning knock. He is really delivering. Taking the plaudits there from Nathan McAndrew as well on another terrific night here of cricket at Sapphire Gardens. And well, there's the card, Charlie. And well, Carlson and Smell came out, didn't they? And they played with real intent, and I think got Glamorgan ahead of the game early on.
Yeah, they did, and I think not just that though. That opening partnership was brilliant, but it was the fact that they got ahead and they stayed ahead despite that terrific over from Usman Tariq. You see Ben Kellaway there going for a 2-ball duck, just 2 balls after Carlson was dismissed, and it felt like that was Warwickshire's time to get back in the game. But Glamorgan, even after that brilliant opening partnership, they were able to stay ahead of the game. Will Smale played such a crucial role in just hanging the whole innings together. You know, it's quite easy to look like they had a fairly to and froing opening partnership, but actually Kieran Carlson went out all guns blazing at the start, and Will Smale was able to really build up his innings throughout the whole innings there for Glamorgan, and he was really that key pivotal role in the chase of Glamorgan that Will Smale was able to carry out. But what a great partnership between those two at the end.
It was, yeah. Tribe and Dixon. Well, Asa Tribe was, I think he hasn't scored less than 40 in any of the 3 matches he's played in this competition so far. He's probably averaging way over 50, you think, after tonight's knock. And he has become a reassuring presence, I think, coming in at number 4. It's happened in a couple of matches where if there's a little wobble, if lose a couple of quick wickets in succession and the hearts start beating a little bit faster, Asa Tribe is now getting to quite a good habit of just coming in and hanging around, settling things down, helping the side to feel confident again. And just at the end there, what was interesting, as the rate was climbing and it got above 10 again, and so you've seen you're above 10 and moving towards 11, 12, 2 a ball, that's a difficult place to be. But they clearly felt confident they would get a few balls to hit to the boundary, and particularly confident that Dixon would be able to hit to clear the rope if he needed to and get Glamorgan over the line. And there's the bowling. Well, there's one standout there. Usman Tariq, 2 for 13, was getting booed by the crowd. Seemed to be saying, "Bring it on, guys, I don't mind." And, well, he was terrific and kind of the guy who really gave Warwickshire a glimmer of hope after Glamorgan had got off to that flyer.
Yeah, he certainly did. I mean, the stats do a lot of talking, don't they? But I think just being in the ground to be able to witness Usman Tariq taking on the fans, and he continued to bowl terrifically throughout his spell. And I think that top man as well might be overlooked. I mean, his first 3 overs were a little bit expensive, but that final over he bowled really brought Warwickshire back into that game. And I think Warwickshire bowled with experience, he bowled with class. And then it was just a shame, wasn't it? Richard Gleeson who had a brilliant 3rd over, just let it fall away in that final one, and it was also some brilliant batting from Sean Dixon as well. Ed Barnard and Bo Webster just with a single over each in the innings. Maybe we could have seen more of them, but do not take away from the man from Pakistan who bowled a terrific 2 for 13 from his 4 overs. There it is, the 7-wicket win for Glamorgan as they go into second.
Yep, so, another big night here at Sapphire Gardens. I think it does feel like here that they feel something is building, and that now significantly and psychologically, I think, probably, the margin of the win will probably just squeeze them into second place. We'll have to check the stats. I don't know if they've been updated so far, whether it has put Glamorgan into second now, chasing Northamptonshire. It does feel like it's a race for second place at the moment, with Northampton so far out, having not lost a game. But we're back here on Sunday again, and Glamorgan, I think, will think if they can get another win against Worcestershire on Sunday, then they're going to be pretty close, I think, to qualification, and that would be a big deal to reach the quarterfinals here. Glamorgan want to be good in every department, and I think to reach a quarterfinal, well, that's the minimum I think they expect now with the side they've got at the moment. They feel, I think, they've got a side for every occasion, and this with the likes of Dixon coming in, and they still have Chris Cook, who's a fantastic striker of the ball, coming in at 6 and batting all the way down to the bottom. I think they feel they could be white ball challengers.
Well, it's interesting because they needed to win this game not only in their own situation, but Worcestershire got a massive win over Kent today, which actually brought them to 20 points in the table, which made that Glamorgan result all the more important. So now there's 3 teams tied in that second spot, all on 20 points. And I think what's interesting here, Ash, is do you think Glamorgan going into this tournament really felt that air of confidence to push for that top 2, or do you think it's the way that they've played, the way they've been able to get their results, get the momentum? That's 5 wins in 6 now for Glamorgan. Yeah. Did you expect that coming into it?
I think I'm not sure. I think they were feeling their way a little bit, and I mean, obviously they made some great signings. And Dixon, pivotal white ball player for Somerset the previous year. I think they felt they had a good side and makings of a team that had all the key elements to be effective in T20 cricket. Of course, it's been quite difficult. They've been playing Championship cricket, and then there was a break, wasn't there, in the Blast to go and play 2 more rounds of the Championship, and so quite difficult for the players to adjust to the different formats. But I think they'll feel really pleased. I think that the way they've come out of that little run of Championship games, they came out with a big boost of a Championship win against Surrey, something they'd never done at home here at Sapphire Gardens before. And I think they feel momentum is building. And actually, interesting, just looking at the table now, actually, they are still in third. Interestingly. 3 teams on 20 points now, Gloucestershire, Glamorgan and Worcestershire, and at the moment Gloucestershire just slightly shading things on net run rate, so it's all to play for really. But I think there does seem to be in that table now just a sense of a breakaway group of 3 teams chasing 1 or possibly 2 places. The third place, imagine if you get 28 points, you might well be in with a shout of getting through as a third place as well, so all to play for. But morale boosting nights like this, against a decent Warwickshire side who were on a bit of a roll themselves as they came here. They'd won 3 on the bounce. I think, just will make everyone feel a little bit more confident. I think that they have got a team that could go all the way. They haven't been to a finals day, I think, since 2003, Glamorgan. So that's a long time ago.
It certainly is, and I think just looking at how they went about it today, that's a complete side. That's a really well-rounded T20 group. And it was as we said, it was the calmness at the end. I mean, to be able to keep the 3 wickets intact, stay calm towards the end, and there were points where potentially that run chase could just have got away from them.
Yeah.
But actually they were able to stay true to the moment. Asa Tribe in particular looked so calm out there. It looked like he was absorbing the pressure, almost as if he was an international player returning back for county duty. He was able just to manage the situation so well, and almost set it up for Sean Dixon, who played that incredible role in that penultimate over to really take Glamorgan over the line, which is what he's done so well in this competition so far. But just looking at that whole Glamorgan group, it felt like a unit. It felt like a team that were all bowling together. It felt like they were bowling in partnerships, whereas on the Warwickshire side, it looked like Usman Tariq was bowling brilliantly, and other bowlers were sort of bowling well in patches, but they couldn't build up the momentum. And Glamorgan as a bowling side could keep that pressure on. It felt took the wickets in the key moments.
Agreed.
And Glamorgan were a great side today.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they do feel that they've got a team that's adaptable, lots of all-rounders, lots of options. You're not just stuck with 5 bowlers and you have to kind of work out where to fit them in. They feel like they've got 6 or 7 bowlers who can all do a job, and I think tonight we saw that. Interesting, even Asa tried bowling a little over, actually quite a tidy over.
Yeah, it was
6 runs at a
very
key
important
moment of the game. So they do feel like they've got options, and I think in the batting side as well. Well, it just feels like a nice lineup. Carlson and Smell can really go at the top. Callaway and Tribe, the sort of young guns making their way in the game. International players of the future, the club hopes. Obviously, they're just bubbling under the Lions now, but I know both have international ambitions. And then someone like Dixon, coming in at 5, intimidating batter to bowl at. The way he cleared the boundary there at the end, just strikes the ball so cleanly. Such a confident guy in those situations of finishing games. So I think they feel like they've got the team that could do well. And you need a bit of luck, don't you, in T20 cricket? You need things to go. If you need the inside edge to go for 4 past the keeper, not to cannon into the stumps at key moments. But at the moment, things are going for them, and it's probably because they're a good side and they're playing well, and therefore it just feels like those 50-50 moments are going their way.
Yeah, it does, and we've mentioned how it's a complete unit, it's a complete team. It feels like it's got every aspect that's needed of the group. And I think the last question I'd pose to you, Ash, is: do you look at that side and think they could go all the way? Well, I mean, I think they can. I've no doubt about it. I think there is some, very positive people in there with strong mindsets. And, of course, I think every team kind of has to believe, don't they, that they can win every game they play. And so I don't think there's any reason why not. I think, they have lost a couple of games as well on last ball finishes earlier in the season. And let's hope that they don't rue that and look back and think sort of what if because of those tight finishes. But equally, they have won some last ball games as well. And I think they've grown in confidence because of that. There is a strong belief, I think, that they will find a way, even in tight games. And so, why not? I mean, I think they're defying a lot of expectations in the Championship, and why not? Let's defy the expectations as well in the Blast as well. And of course, don't forget, they beat the champions home and away this year, Somerset. So that is a no mean feat in and of itself, and the sort of thing I think that does bring belief to a side that actually, we're contenders here. Why not? Yeah, and it does feel that actually some of the great Blast sides over the years have had those rickety starts. They haven't always got off to the best starts of the tournament, and then they've just begin to find form at the right time. And Glamorgan could have timed this perfectly, that they could get into that top 2, they could go beyond. And I think when you're looking at a side who are performing out of this world in Northants, actually it's so rare that a team can go through the whole competition without any of those setbacks. So I think Glamorgan might have that almost as a slight advantage, that they've got that momentum going upwards, and Northants almost have got always something to worry about in a weird way. But no, Glamorgan look a brilliant side, and to watch them out there today, they were a great unit, and they put aside a Warwickshire side who are in great form with some top quality international T20 cricket players. Bo Webster, top run scorer in the tournament, got to 47, got dismissed. Usman Tariq, brilliant spell of bowling. Chris Wokes, one of the most experienced bowlers in the competition, and they were able to get through that side and beat them. Actually, in the end, it was very close, but you look on the scorecard, that's a comfortable win. Well done to Glamorgan, a great side, and put aside a great Warwickshire team. Absolutely,
it was a great night, brilliant night here, and listen, the cricket is really entertaining down here at Sophia Gardens, and so there's 2 more home matches coming up on Sunday afternoon. It's Worcestershire Rapids are here, and of course, one of the teams in the mix as well. So that would be great to come down and watch that on Sunday afternoon. Double header as well, with the Glamorgan women's team playing a little bit earlier in the day, and then of course Northamptonshire Steelbacks, the runaway side in this division. Well, they're here on Wednesday night for the final home Blast game of the season. So can I encourage you? Get on glamorgancricket.com, get yourself a ticket, because that could be an absolute classic. It is all to play for, and I think this Glamorgan team are a side that is worth watching at the moment. So I think we can wrap up there. I think you've probably got to get a train home or something, have you, Charlie, or make your way to somewhere on your incredible journey around the cricket grounds of England and Wales this summer. It's been great to spend the evening with you, Charlie. Thanks very much for joining us here on the Glamorgan live stream. We hope it won't be too long before you're back again. and we'll very look forward to chatting again then. But for now, thank you to you at home as well for watching. We hope you've enjoyed it. We certainly have, and we look forward to seeing you on Sunday afternoon for the next instalment. From all of us here at Sapphire Gardens, bye-bye.
Thank you.